to what we love. Risk the follow, we have felt it all come crashing down from far above. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding, only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies, the champions of the world that we defy. A solar ray of the few who rise up high, and we all fight at the last strike. Hearing voices from afar, join the madness when the curtain falls. Risk it all, hold nothing back. Seize the day, we must attack. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding, only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies, the champions of the world that we defy. A solar ray of the few who rise up high, and we all fight at the last strike. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we bring to fall the giants?
everybody, and welcome to the finals of the Victoris Triumph Series. I am your host, as always, Becky Rita. Joining me on the desk, we have Moose and TDS to provide you with all the gameplay, commentary, expertise that you will ever need in this lifetime and the next. Moose, how are you feeling tonight? You're looking good? You feeling good? You ready?
Oh yeah, I am. I'm so
Oh.
excited. It's gonna be a great grand finals. Got an opportunity to get to go to cast, the two arguably best teams here in the VTS this split. I mean, they've made it this far, and now only one team will remain. I mean, before we get any further in, I just want to say to both you, TDS, and to you, Becky, been such a phenomenal split. I mean, we have had some great moments. We have had some insane plays happen. We've also had a couple of misplays happen throughout this split, and it has been a complete joy and pleasure to be able to cast and entertain our viewers throughout the last 10 weeks or so. So thank you guys so much for being amazing people.
Yeah, thank
It's
you.
been a
Thank you
pleasure with
for
you as
being here
well.
with us too. Yeah, no, it's a
Mhm.
pleasure being here. Sorry to run over you, TDS. I,
Like,
I have a habit of doing that. I run over people. I'm giving you the floor. How are you feeling?
I missed on last week's games. I wanted to watch them because, if I'm not wrong, it was GEB once again, and they were
Yes,
on the. Oh, sorry.
they went 3-0. They went 3-0
Yeah,
last week.
so actually going for the back to back, really great. I wanted to see it. And then on the other side, I went saying because I thought that G7 was going to take it, then it's actually BG, if I'm not wrong. Blanking on their full name, but I think it's BG. Um, yeah, virtual gaming, being able to go on a run to just destroying everyone essentially, and being able to get to these grand finals is such a great spot. Like, it feels really interesting watching two teams from Group A. Then I'm pretty sure almost nobody expected Group A to be end up being the strongest apparently. And now in the grand finals, two teams from them just going to throw arms and see who can take everything. It's something really interesting, and I think almost poetic in a sense because nobody gave anything to Group A.
Yeah, nobody gave anything there. And I do want to talk about a little bit about Glacial Esports Black's path to the finals because they were fourth seeded in Group A. We had no expectations for them week one. We figured it was
Yep.
going to be a clean 3-0 for Team Ambition Black, and it was a clean 3-0. But for the other team, we were all
We were
embarrassingly
expecting that.
wrong.
No. On contrary, we thought it was going to be a clean 3-0, right? So we actually hit that, just the
True,
other team. But
true.
it
Yeah,
was a
no.
3-0, so
Yeah, it was a
I'll
clean
take
3-0,
credit for
and
that.
it's not even necessarily that their competition has been underwhelming or underperforming. Their competition has been playing at maybe less CB infusion, but their competition has been playing at levels we expect them to. But Glacial Esports Black has come in with strategies and compositions and great team play that helped them come out on top in every game they've played in the playoffs. And it's very impressive that they've been able to stay as undefeated as they are in playoffs, you know?
Yep.
But talking about undefeated, Virtue Gaming Ambition, regular season undefeated, first seed Group A, cleaning up round one and dropping a single game to Gang 7 Mirage in the semi-finals. VGA, I know both of you guys, both of you fellas have maybe more information about VGA or than we do Glacial Esports Black. I don't know what if there's something you want to share about some of the things that they've been through in this climb to the top because I don't know if we
Yeah.
really saw many of their games this split at all.
I'm
We
pretty sure
didn't.
we were supposed to see one, and I think something happened that day and we couldn't.
Mhm.
I
Okay.
think
Yeah.
that's what happened with them.
we
They're
have we have yet to see
yeah.
we have yet to see any of Virgin Gaming Ambition here in the VTS, but they are pretty active in the Masters Plus metaverse, a couple of different leagues and things like that. And they've also been a team that's been around for a couple of splits as well. You know,
Yeah.
I when I first started getting into amateur casting, when I first started getting to some different organizations that I was casting for, Virtual Gaming Ambition was one of the first teams that I was able to cast for on a consistent basis. And you know, some of their previous performances this year have definitely not represented the power that the team has. And this showcase throughout the VTS's split has definitely shown why they are a top tier, consistent playoff contender in the Master Plus rank. You've got Loki Dosi, who's been with the team for a little while, number two Ginger as well, who has played in many different roles within
Yeah.
the organization. And, you know, overall, like, well, we haven't seen Virtual Gaming Ambition. If you guys have been keeping track of Masters Plus gameplay throughout the last year or so, you've definitely heard of the organization and you've definitely heard of the team. So I do not expect them to disappoint. I do not expect either one of these teams, Virtual Gaming Ambition or Glacial Black, to be 0-3'd in this. But considering how crazy these playoffs have been, especially in the lower side of the bracket, I could not tell you who's going to be able to win this series and who's going to win this whole tournament, because it's, you know, a $1,500 prize pool. There's a lot of money on the
Yeah.
line.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
money on the line, a lot of pride on the line as well. TDS, were you wanting to say something too?
I just wanted to add to, like, for these two teams, like reaching this point, being on the cusp of getting the prize pool, of winning and just putting their names on the top of everyone. Like, it must be great, but at the same time nerve wracking, right? Because you're just one step away from achieving what you want to achieve in this tournament, and you really don't want to disappoint. So I'm expecting some great games, and I really hope that neither of the teams are affected by the circumstance that they are currently in. Mainly talking about playing wise, so that we don't just face nervous players or anything like that. Because I think that this is setting up to be a really, really good grand final. Also, to add on the onto the virtual gaming side, because I did talk to Ginger as well, and just seeing what he wrote to me, seeing what he is meaning with the team and all that. And I find interesting how Virtual Gaming, the changes that they made to the roster really improve them in a lot of instances as well. They have players that are not only looking, because we talk about looking into the Master Plus ladder, trying to get towards the higher degree of play. And they are a team that are looking not only to try and showcase their strengths here in this kind of divisions, but they are also trying to go into the CLO areas, into the PG circuit areas. And I think that that's something really commendable from a team, because it shows that their ambition is not lying only at this. They want more, and they are certainly proving that they're a team that maybe can achieve much more. And I'm excited to see what they can go and pull off together or separately in the CLL scene, because they are not in the same university, any most of the players. So hopefully they can perform and prove what they want to prove.
Yeah, this is where it all ends. For win or lose, this is where it all comes
Yeah.
to a close, and this is where the prize money will be collected. Fortunately, both teams will, because this is finals, both teams will be bringing home a prize of some amount of money. There's a $1,500 prize pool, with $1,100 going to the first place team and $400 going to the second place team. That is a cool, significant
Margin.
chunk of change.
Yeah.
Honestly, one of the bigger prize pools in the amateur scene. So it's something that, at least from the amateur scene, that I am in the realm of. So, you know, it's pretty important that these teams look to play their best and collect the prize pool here, because, you know, it's the money does matter, at least a little bit. But I do think that pride is very important. Playing well is very important, and bringing it home is what is going to matter. So, because there's a lot to talk about here, and I think with these two teams, predictions are actually going to be very difficult. Because we have the stats and we have the numbers, we
We're
have
still
the
doing it, right?
records, but do the stats and records even matter? Like, going into this, how much really of that matters?
So it's kind of like a balance, right? Like they do, but you shouldn't let yourself get thrown out by them. I think that's the way to put it. Like they matter, but not as much as maybe we initially thought. Especially with how GEB has been taking these playoffs, because I was one of the ones that said that they were not going to advance. I put them as probably the weakest team coming into playoffs. And with their showcase in both semifinals and quarterfinals, I feel like matter, but you really have to take them with a grain of salt, especially when looking at how they played.
Okay,
Agreed.
take it with a grain of salt. Moose, what's your perspective?
Agreed. And I mean, looking at their finals matches and looking at their playoff run as it is, the question is, is this a Cinderella story, or was it just a very late in the split adaptation that has allowed for them to be able to get to this point? I'm gonna, we have just a little bit of time, so I want to really reiterate this thing once again, because one of the things that has been really, really interesting for me in these playoffs has been the draft. Like, we have seen some absolutely insane drafts this playoffs here on the stream. Some crazy picks that really have not worked for the losing teams. So, I'm going to reiterate it once again, especially with the way that season 12 is played out, and especially with so much money on the line. You have to be able to be drafting well. And I think that this game is in some large part determined by how well these teams are going to be able to draft against their opponents. Bans are going to need to be effective. Picking your mid laner before your bottom laner might be the difference between winning a game or not. Choosing the right support, whether you want to go for a tank or an enchanter, gives so much dynamics to how the actual gameplay is going to come through. And while the gameplay is the most important part, you cannot discount how important the draft is going to be. And I'm really excited to see what both these teams are bringing out to the table, because if you want to win these games, if you want to try to get yourself onto, the top team, get first place, maybe this is the time to go in for a strategy that you have been practicing, that you are prepared for, that you haven't brought out yet, and put your opponents really in a difficult position. So I am super pumped to see how the drafts are going to be played out. I can't wait to get these games started. It's going to be a really, really fun night.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
definitely excited too. I'm definitely excited to see what everybody's going to bring to the table. And I have to agree that draft is something that is so vitally important. We saw that last week in particular. CB and Fusion, they were lacking the coach that they had throughout the season. So they were unable to really come into the game with a better game plan than our captain picks the champions they want to play. And then we do our best from there.
that
Uh,
sounds like an LCS kind of thing.
it
Just
kind of is, kind
sounds
of
familiar.
is.
Yeah, sounds kind of familiar, but it didn't work out. So certainly draft is going to play really important. Now, I do want to add pick Belbeth, not because she's broken. I just want to see her, just
Belveth is still
because of that.
disabled.
Oh wait, is
Uh,
it?
yeah, Belveth
No,
is disabled through the rest of
my
playoffs
hype.
because
No.
Belveth was disabled at start of playoffs. They weren't going to enable it at the end. However, for the leagues that
I
are still going to
disagree
be going on,
wholeheartedly.
they will have Belveth enabled for playoffs. So
Okay,
don't
okay, okay.
worry. I'm super excited to deal with that champion.
Okay,
Uh,
so if Belbeth cannot be here, pick Twitch. Not because he's broken or anything, just because I want to see him. That's it.
Okay. What do you want to see, Moose? What pick, regardless of being meta, would you want to see brought out today? What spice? What spice do you want to see?
Let's get some fiddlesticks.
Yo,
Ooh.
okay. Now we're talking.
Let's get
Now
some
we're talking.
Nocturne Fiddlesticks action coming through.
People
Let's
are
get
not
some
that
let's
people are
get
not
some
that creative,
support
sadly.
fiddlesticks. Let's
I
get some
wish.
support fiddlesticks with some jungle nocturne. Get the ultimate fear coming in. It will
Really
be
prime.
too good. Prime gaming right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would
I
be
mean,
glad to see that.
it could happen. I don't necessarily think it will, but
Yeah,
I'm not going to rule it out either. There are some matchups that I would say probably the Nocturne's going to be in
there are some
lane
crazy
more
people
than the
out there.
Fiddle. But I think that there are some angles, there are some champions in the mid lane that Nocturne might be able to play well into, and you can make it happen.
Hmm.
But We'll have to see if that's actually a possibility. For me, I
What
don't even
was
have to say
that,
it.
Becky Rita? What was that? That was some baritone right there. That was some bass
Don't
coming
worry
in
about
through
it.
the voice.
adding more depth to the voice.
Adding
Yeah,
more depth.
a
That's what
little
we're
more
doing.
depth. Trying
That's
to
what we're doing.
just trying to get the vocal range going. Gotta warm up for my
That's better. Yeah.
I love it.
I don't
I
have a
love it.
finish to that. I don't have a finish to that joke. No, I want to see Garen, of course, best champion in the game. He's awful. He's bad in every way. He fits into no team comps. He is a glorified stat checker. But
What's
I
better
would
than that?
like to see him get picked up into a good matchup because I think if the stars align and the Garen has a clean way to team fight, he can be a destructive force both in a comp that's trying to front to back and a comp that's trying to flank to get kills.
That sounds
But
way too hard to achieve.
no, it is unbelievably hard to achieve because they have to pick Anivia exactly, and then you can't pick
Oof.
Garen. So
So
we've seen plenty of Anivias. We've
yeah,
seen plenty of other of those very zone control champions. Zone control is just the name of the game right now. So yeah, it's not a good time to be Garen or other melee champs, but we'll have to see if Fiddle, Twitch, or Garen get brought out on the show tonight. But before we get into drafted players are in the lobby, they're getting themselves set up. We got to do predictions. We got to see if
ooh.
we can finally get one right after all this time. TDS, you're rubbing your hands together. You've got something ready. Drop it on the table. Who's winning?
So I'll take the side of VGA because I think they can close out their split. I'll go for
Okay.
a 3-1 in favor of them. I think
3-1
they can
for
perform.
VGA.
Yeah, I
Okay,
feel like they
okay.
can perform.
All right. They can perform. We see getting a message from the producer that the team does not know how to use the drafting software. It has been how many weeks, everyone? Please. Uh, Moose, how are you feeling? Who do you want? Who do you think's gonna win? Who's
Here's
gonna
my
take it home? Do you agree, VGA, or do you believe in the GEB sweep?
absolutely not. I will not pick a winning team. I'm going to stay neutral in that, but I will say this. Whichever team wins game 2 wins the series. And it's going to be a 3-1.
Ooh.
Game
That is
2.
actually a
Yeah, not game
bolder
1.
prediction
Whoever
than I
wins.
thought.
Yep, whoever wins game 2 wins the series. Either way.
I go
Either
one
way.
step farther. Whoever wins game 3.
Oh, true. Okay,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Whoever wins the last game of the series wins the series. That's my
I
prediction.
absolutely right. Yeah, whoever wins game 5 is
Whoever
100%
wins
winning.
game
Exactly.
5 wins the series.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
That
You got
that would be so great. I would love to see game 5 today. I would absolutely love to see it. I hope that that is the
Would
case. But
would change things up for our playoffs, right? Because we had just 2 sweeps, not having watched any BO5. Kind of
Mhm.
anticlimactic in a sense.
Yeah, I it is a little anticlimactic, but I think tonight's the
Just a
night
little.
these teams will be ready to bring some action. I gotta say, Jeb sweep. They're gonna go through. They're gonna go 3-2, I believe. So yes, it looks like the teams are getting into the draft. The bands
Ooh.
are going. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw it over to you two for game 1 of the best of 5 series between VG Virtue Gaming Ambition and Glacial Esports Black. Take it away, boys.
all right, everybody. I am so excited to finally get started here. Thank you, as always, to Becky Rita, and of course, before we get any further, we've got to shout out our producer and our production staff today. If you guys have not been aware, we've got the we've got issues with Canada going on with some internet issues and all that fun stuff. We've got Benjamin's here that is taking care of the production side here for today, so definitely shout him out in the chat. But let's go ahead and talk about the draft now. Virtue Gaming Ambition going to be over on the blue side, Glacial Esports Black going on the red. Ari Zeri have already been down from Glacial Esports, and Virtual Gaming Ambition, they've decided to ban out the Fiora and the Seraphine, but they make the decision to ban out the Senna instead of forcing GEB to do so.
Yeah, and with how prevalent Senna and Seraphine are right now in the meta, you really can tell quite a bit of a team's priority when you look at their blue side bans. Because of the champions that you can pick off, if you ban those two away, it means that you want to probably focus towards a jungler or a hyper carry. Viego being one of the main ones. We still have Wukong that has been quite a huge priority recently. I'm not a huge fan of first pick Wukong, but that may be the case here. There's still as well, I've seen it popping up quite a bit. Not the Bolivar, I was thinking more of the Udyr, but this is another bear essentially. So the Bolivar here for that early game priority that we may find quite useful for the side of Virtu Gaming. And then on the side of GEB, I expect him to try and go for a jungler here just to answer accordingly to the Bolivar.
Yeah, Trundle is still available, Wukong is still
True.
available, an early game response to the Volibear. In response to what has been going on in the playoffs, Glacial Esports Black has played, I believe, 4 games against Volibear in their 2 best of 3s, and all 4 of those games have ended in a loss for their opponents. Both Team Ambition Black and CB and Fusion have tried to play Volibear to very little effect. So this is a champion that Glacial Esports has a ton of experience playing here in the playoffs, and they have done exactly this before with the Renata Glask and the Swain now getting locked in. You've got a ton of potential opportunity to deny that hypercarry ADC and to deal tons of damage in zone control with the Swain.
Yeah, and I like the options here because it's first of all one champion that you would like to go against the Bolivar because Bolivar is running to you. So you can answer accordingly to that. And then you have as well the ultimate from the Renata to make the Bolivar want to think twice if he really wants to hard engage or not. And I think that that can be quite useful, especially against carries like the one for Beer to Gaming. But I really like this answer from them as well. Long range carries that doesn't necessarily need to go super close to try and fight against champions like the Swain that wants to fight up close because of the ultimate, as well as Renata. I think that these two are great. And the answer of the Kindred, I like this because it's not common that we see the Kindred, but I think she has a great matchup against the Bolivar, as well as just having so much hyper carry potential. And I think it's one of the better pairings as well with the Renata Glask in the bot lane.
Yeah,
As a support jungler, right?
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Ambition is going to get a little bit of the early game jungling advantage because that's just what Volibear does. But Kindred, as the game goes on, will be able to scale up nicely with the Renata and with the Swain. So if we're looking at Glacial Esports composition at the moment, it is going to take a little bit of time before it comes online. Their early game is at this particular moment exceptionally weak. And VGA has really tried to focus in on making sure that their mid game is very strong right now. You've got 2 champions that are going to build the tier of the goddess. And so we're looking to see if VGA is going to be able to continue to maybe draft some more early game to give the Corki and Ezreal the opportunity to get that snowball going, or if they decide to maybe build more support for the Corki and Ezreal and just make sure that they're going to be the ones that deal damage. But Glacial Esports Black, it looks like their objective is to win in the late game. They have locked in that Jhin, leaving the top lane open for the R5.
Yeah, putting the counter pick on the top laner, I really like this. I think Jhin Renata. I was expecting the Kalista because of how the combo does work out. One of the more prevalent combos as well, I feel like. But Jhin Renata, you can find some avenues to make it work out. And Jhin is one of the 80 carries that you really don't need to go hyper aggressive to make work. Now, I really like the Poppy here to counter the Kindred. And then thinking about potential picks in the top lane, Gnar, Camille, are 2 champions that are really prevalent and as counter picks are picked quite often, same as the Jax, and the Poppy can find value here, even if it's as the top laner or as the jungler. We yet don't know because with the Bolivar and the Poppy can still be a flex. And lastly, as support here, like maybe the Poppy as well could opt into support, but with the Yuumi, it's not going to be the case. I was trying to 5-brain that, but no, it's the Yuumi. It's a pretty confident pick that can help you out in a lot of situations. You have a lot of power engaging when you really want to, thanks to the Yuumi, but you can disengage safely as well. And there's the Camille.
100%. There's the Camille. It is a rather squishy comp for Glacial Esports Black, so we're really looking to make sure that this Kindred is able to use that Lamb's Respite pretty effectively. We're looking to see Renata be able to get a really good hostile takeover to make sure that the Jhin and the Kindred and the Camille are going to be able to deal their damage without taking damage themselves. So, looking over to VGA, they still have a lot of mobility. They've looked to focus to make sure that Renata's effectiveness with that hostile takeover is somewhat muted. You've got the package from the Corki, you've got the Arcane Shift from the Ezreal, and Yuumi is basically a non-factor when it comes to getting hit by hostile takeovers. So we're really looking to see if Glacial Esports can land those skill shots on these hyper mobile carries? And will the Yumi be able to put in enough punch in the mid to late game to keep the Corki and Ezreal relevant?
Yeah, and I think one particular thing that is jumping already to me from GEB's composition is the fact that they are relying quite heavily on the Camille to be the engager. Because I think Swain is going to benefit from the Camille engaging, obviously, thanks to the Hextech ultimatum, and being able to just consistently suck up some sort of damage. If you're able to force yourself as the Camille into a great spot, can benefit quite greatly both the Swain and then the Jhin as well from a safe distance. The problem is that if the Camille doesn't find those angles, I think Virtue Gaming has such a good composition to just go back if they are in a tough spot and then re-engage if they need to. They can play for the range, but their re-engage potential is quite good. They have good enough ways to force teamfights to happen thanks to just the Polyver existing as well as the Yumi. And then their disengage potential can be game winning because of the Poppy. The Poppy ultimate alone here can be so massive to just throw the plans from GEP completely off. And I feel like that is something that GEP has to be especially careful about when they go for engages because they cannot fail their engages in the start. They have to, when they commit for a play, they have to be able to execute on the play.
Yeah, Keeper's Verdict and even Steadfast Presence are both going to have the opportunity to put in a lot of work. And the Camille R5 was picked into the Poppy. They're not worried about the Steadfast Presence being an issue, or maybe that wasn't something that they considered. Either way, the Camille is going to have to make sure that they do not get hit by that Steadfast Presence. They don't get stunned out of their hook shot. If they do, the Camille is not going to be able to get to the backline, nor is she going to be able to reposition effectively to be able to give Glacial Esports the initiation that maybe they are looking for. Now, as always, they could decide to maybe peel back a little bit, use the hostile takeover and the Visions of Empire defensively to try to give them a little bit of peeling and then force VGA into their position, which could be a better opportunity for them. But strictly speaking, a poke comp against a poke comp, Virtue Gaming Ambition does have the advantage. I think the mobility advantage ever so slightly favors Glacial Esports with this Kindred and Camille. There is an opportunity for the Kindred and Camille to maybe go in for a flank and maybe make something happen to get to the backline a little bit easier and force VGA. Yeah, force VGA into a hard spot.
Yeah, and I feel like as a game plan, I can kind of understand it. The only thing is that, and this is something that I've come to realize watching a lot of the compositions happen, and it's that I may like something much more, but when you're in a tough situation in a game, having that push, that go button, that just pull the trigger and be able to go for a play, it's something really ideal. And I feel like when you don't have that just point and click immediate to see that some other champions do have, like Sejuani, like the Leona, like the Nautilus, to put some examples, it can be a little bit harder. Camille can do that, but she's squishier than those other examples. So I feel like it may be a little bit much riskier with the Camille, but it's still totally plausible that it can happen.
100%, 100%. I'm just getting word, though, that we are in the spectator delay less than 2 minutes before getting into game one. So with that being said, TDS, what is your prediction for the Dragon Soul and Rift for game one?
Been a while since I've done this. I'll go for Cloud. I feel like it's a Cloud kind of game.
I'm feeling mobility as well. I think it's going to be a Hextech Soul. Hextech Soul, Hextech Rift here. Get those Hext gates going, and that would be really, really effective for Glacial Esports. Chat, let us know what you guys think the Cloud Soul and Rift is going to be. I'd like to see if anyone, if we do end up going to 5 games or more, see if anyone can predict more than 3 of the Dragons in a specific best of 5. But with that being said, though, we are going to take a very quick break, and when we return, the beginning of this best of 5 will commence. Game number 1 between Virtue Gaming Ambition and Glacial Esports Black will begin. This is the VTS, and we'll be right back. right, everybody, good evening, and welcome to the Victoris Triumph Series. My name is Moose, and I'm joined here today by the one and only TDS, and, very shortly, we will have the winner of this whole tournament, and I'm so excited to be able to cast it with you.
I hope it's not shortly because I like BO5s, right? But yeah, we will have our winner today. And it's been so fun, like 100%. It's been great with a lot of plays. I still remember the 5-man Renata ulti in that tri-bush over there. We have had our highlights, right? It's been great.
We sure have. And speaking of that, speaking of all that, we've had some amazing 5-man ultis. We've seen several pentakills, a handful of quadra kills. It's been, and some just amazing moments throughout this entire tournament. And it is bittersweet for it to come to an end, but we don't get the opportunity to cast such a high stakes match every single day. So very, very excited to begin with it. Virtual Gaming Ambition, though, is going to be over on the blue side here for Game 1. 67 going to be playing as that Poppy in the top lane with the Teleport Flash. We've got Nihao Dylan. I keep on saying Dylon. And no, Dylan going to be playing as that Volibear in the jungle. Number 2, Ginger with the first strike. Corki. Lokidosi with the Teleport Flash Ezreal. Going to be paired with Phoenix Main. That is going to be playing as that Yuumi. That is your lineup for Virtual Gaming Ambition here in Game 1.
Essentially really taking the fact that is a pretty big trade in the mid lane in favor of the swing. But speaking quickly about the bot lane, I like the teleport idea here because you're playing with double aggressive summoners on the Yuumi. So you do get the freedom and the liberty to try and just take the teleport and play better for the lane. One thing that Jhin can do quite effectively against a lot of AD carries, right? It's getting the control over the laning phase. So having the teleport can at least allow you to not be forced into a tough situation, at least twice. Like once you can, but twice no.
Smart as going to be able to get a little bit of a poke advantage here against 67 in the top lane. Going over your roster for Glacial Esports Black, it is Smart as going to be playing as the Camille with that Ignite teleport. No flash on this top laner. Popeng going to be playing as the Kindred. Hadazor, who has been a phenomenal catalyst for a lot of these plays for Glacial Esports, is going to be playing once again as that Swain with the Conqueror. Silva and Sly Lego going to be coming in once again with that Jhin Renata. I shouldn't say once again, this is the first time that we've seen Silva on the Jhin, but we have definitely seen Sly Lego have some phenomenal games with that Renata, and it has been some great performances for sure. Did get that charge going in from Smartaz. Regardless of that, that is your roster for Glacial Esports here in Game 1.
Yeah, and this has been such a good roster playing since the playoffs. They have been consistent in what they are doing, and they have been able to play around Popeng, which I think has been one of the best performers as well coming in for GEB. Not saying that the others haven't been quite great either, but Popeng has really shown up in the playoffs, and I think that is going to be another important factor looking into this grand finals, especially in this game, when you have your jungler on a carry champion like the Kindred.
Popeng decided to go for a full clear, but actually did not go for a full clear. Went over to the Krugs, and now looking to be able to find Dylan here. Dylan's going to find Popeng down to less than 200 HP. The flash is going to come through. First blood easily brought over to Virtual Gaming Ambition, but the play is not potentially over yet. No, it is, but that is a big start for Virtual Gaming Ambition.
Yeah, and just as I sing my praises for Popeng, a questionable play. Oh, wait.
Yeah, we're not over yet as we got another stun going to go in for Smart as going to try to be able to get away. Great use of the hook shot to deny the Storm Splitter. Nicely defended there by the Camille.
Yeah, and I think not only the fact that it denies the Storm Splitter, but it also stuns the Poppy, which was the closest target. So cannot follow up with flash or anything like that. Great presence of mind to pull up the play in that situation. And all in all, denying the kill there, because a kill in that situation after what happened with Popeng could have been really detrimental coming in for GEB. But VGA, I like that they are trying to run this early game as they should. A little bit aggressive, trying to get the plays going in favor of them, especially with how this bot lane is going. Already a play for the Jhin.
Yeah, Sly Lego has really been, utilizing that mana bar very effectively here. You are essentially playing a 2v1 in this bottom lane for the next couple of minutes, and Silva, Sly Lego have been able to capitalize on that. One of the weaknesses of Jhin is the fact that it does take a little bit of time to get that damage, but it's Sly Lego that's going to potentially be in trouble. The heal's going to get used. Bailout's going to come through. Sly Lego does not die. using the bailout as a bailout and doesn't go down.
Yeah, that one Q needs to hit onto the Renata for that to be a potential kill, and then the bailout coming out. But that could have been much dangerous for the side of GEB. They blow 2 summoners, but it's an equal trade at the end of the day. And I think this is one of the most important points to look into the bot lane, because the Ezreal has a teleport. So he can just push this coming wave back, and he realistically won't lose that much because of the teleport.
Yeah, he's gonna have to shove it though. He's gonna have to,
Yeah.
work it, girl, or something like that, because he has been pushed out this entire game so far. So he's gonna be able to get back. He's gonna be able to push the lane forward, pretty much get it to a neutral state, I believe, unless he really wants to risk it for the biscuit and go in for a regular push or for a higher push. That is not the case. Step press presence will be used to be able to get 67, denying on that hook shot, as now Dylan's gonna come through. Easy bait coming in for Virtue Gaming Ambition, as they're able to pick up a second kill there. Dylan does have that Stormbringer to potentially pick up Popeng, and Popeng realizes it, going to have to back away from this tower. Visions of Empire is going to drop to clear a little bit of the minion wave, so gonna mitigate some of that damage, but still another kill on the top side of the Rift for VGA.
Yeah, and I love the way that play transpired, because I think 67 played that marvelously. Getting the sub into the hookshot from the Camille, baiting out the overcommit because Popeng was on top side, but it also, because of how the play went, Camille didn't get vision of the Bolivar previously. So they never really saw the Bolivar until it was way too late. And without flash, Camille is just a sitting duck. That was such a great play to see, mechanically wise from 67, and then the easy collection of the kill that they got.
So it is a little bit risky, though, I think, for VGA to decide to focus so much attention in the top lane. The idea is that Lokidosi and Phoenix Man are going to be able to stay alive, and they have done so far. Sly Lego's going to flash, but is still alive. The bailout is still available. Silva going to be dropping into about half HP. This is going to be the first play that we've seen bottom side from VGA. Dylan's not going to be able to get the Stormbringer, but with Sly Lego very low and flash used, they might just have the priority necessary to pick up that dragon. Mountain Drake, the first one going to be on the board. And VGA, they are going to pick that up.
I'm actually super surprised to not see them be a little bit more forceful onto the turret, because they had ultimate from the Bolivar. They can just try and commit, blow the turret out, and even if the Kindred is on site, they still have the Yuumi as well to try and keep the healing up. So surprised to not see it happening, but I also do understand why they don't overcommit. They still get an objective, which is the overall value that you get in the play, and also now can be a little bit more aggressive towards the top side. With the dragon down in your favor, you can go for that Rip Herald if you really want to.
Benjamin, really quick, if we could take a look at the stack so far for Popeng on the Kindred, see where they are at. Did not get the first stack in the Scuttle Crab, but is at 2 right now. A respectable score, but it's nothing out of the ordinary. It did die earlier on in the game, so falling a little bit behind. Also just lost that last chance at a stack in the bottom lane, as we do potentially get a play from the Volibear. Stormbringer is ready and gonna go in with the Sky Splitter, not able to get the damage onto Silva, but the bailout's gonna be used. Lokidosi survives long enough to be able to make it a 1-for-1.
Both supports trade for the kill. They get the value there. Sly Lego needs to be careful. Yeah, level 6.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, not the play that they wanted. Phoenix Main almost dead, but a overstay there from Sly Lego is going to give VGA another kill.
Yeah, close but no cigar. Not enough to be able to get the kill onto the Yuumi. And now a 2-for-1, really nicely done. Popeng trying to collect this. Oh, I think he got it. Okay,
yeah, he got it. 67 is now going to potentially be in trouble, and the mark is also available. 67 is going to be forced to flash, and it doesn't matter. The arrow and the damage from Popeng will be enough to pick up their second kill of the game. Now, third stack online for Popeng, and they are going to start the Rift Herald.
Surprised the hammer wasn't even propelled to try and just escape in that situation from the Kindred. But anyway, it is a kill. They do get the flash coming in onto 67 and the Rift Herald potentially as well. They have the numbers advantage. Poppy doesn't have teleport, so she's going to take a little bit longer to reach this place. And they also don't have Bolivar ultimate.
Yeah, they're gonna have to back away. Virtue Gaming Ambition has to let the Rift Herald go. It was down to about 1500 HP, and Popeng will be able to pick that up. That is going to be a strong influx of gold here for Glacial Esports. They're only behind by about 1,000 gold here at the 10-minute mark, and if you're able to get that gold onto one of your carries, say Kaidazor or Silva, it can be really, really effective to start getting your momentum going, considering that on the bottom side of the Rift, it's still a very even game.
Yeah, even though the Ezreal has had the CS lead right now in favor of him, it is still actually not that far from the Jhin, and one kill, one plate can really turn around that much in the bot lane. Oliver needs to be careful here.
Yeah, Dylan's going to come in with the Yuumi here. It's going to be a 2v2 for the time being. Silva's on the way, as well as Kaidazor, so that could have potentially been a risky situation for Glacial Esports. Not able to pick up the Gromp, and not really able to get any other neutral objectives out of that. Just harassing Glacial Esports for the time being.
Yeah, but because of what has happened already in the top side, look at this. The Poppy has control over the top lane, pushing onto the plate as well. And in the bot side, I think the main worry that you're feeling right now, or at least on bot side, but the main worry that you're feeling right now if you're VGA, it's the Kindred. Because she's so far ahead of the Bolivar, even with the kills, already has the first item. I think it's one level, not one full level ahead, but should have one level advantage as of now because of the huge CS deficit. And I think that can be a little bit worrisome thinking about the mid game and the late game.
Speaking of the mid game, though, we got to talk about the mid game and how many tears are being cried by VGA right now. You've got 3 Tear of the Goddess stacks.
There's one more than
accumulated in. You've got one for 67 on the Poppy, probably going to go in for a Fimbulwinter. You've got the Muramana going to come in for number 2 Ginger, and then Loxidosi, who's at 279 stacks on that Tear of the Goddess as well. So, we really want to pay attention to how well VGA is going to be able to perform with them at around the 15-16 minute mark when those items could potentially get upgraded.
Yeah, and that's without counting any kind of play that could boost that generation of the item much more quickly. The one I'm surprised the most is the Poppies, because I understand the decision to opt into the Fimbulwinter, but it's 81 stacks. Just 81 stacks. So that is going to take quite a bit of time before it actually becomes an important item to play with. And I don't think... Oh, wait, Popen?
We got the Flash Forward. Popen's going to be able to get a nice dash, though, and now the pack is going to get dropped. Great Lambs was right to keep Popeng alive for the time being as a hostile takeover is going to get used. The Berserk's going to go in. Number 2 Ginger dies, but it's a Stormbringer from Dylan to be able to pick up 1 for 1. Dylan wants another one. The Side Splitter is going to be able to do it, but he will die to a double kill for Kaidazor. So it's currently 2 for 2. The Root's going to land on Loxidosi, who's inside the Demonic Ascension. Phoenix Maid is so low. Loxidosi is so low, and it's a triple kill for Kaidazor and disaster for VGA.
Yeah, the plate idea I can kind of understand because of how they wanted to go for it, but you cannot allow that Lamb's Respite to come in, and then I think the commitment onto the turret a little bit hard. You really have to CC them, or at least play with your distance. The Corki was essentially milling between against the members of GEB, and they just completely and pretty single-handedly destroy him without really achieving much. We're yet to see as well the power that the Corki can provide, because the mana mute is not even stacked fully. So I like the play, I understand the idea, but GEB's response was really, really good, and now they are completely back into the game. There was a small gold lead in favor of VGA, but now it's completely even. Kaidazor
has been such a pivotal part of this playoff run for Glacial Esports. This Swain continues to be available for them, and he continues to deliver. Now 3-0 into 8 stacks on that Dark Seal, an absolute menace, and they know it. Kaidazor is going to also be able to pick up even more with that Riptail getting dropped in the mid lane. Unfortunately, Shelly will not get the turret plates. But hey, just being able to clear out that mid lane tower would be good, as Dylan is now trying to be able to get this dragon. Who's going to be able to get it? It will be Dylan that's going to be able to pick it up, as the teleport's going to come through from 67. Does not have the Keeper's Verdict, but the stun's going to land on a Kaidazor. Kaidazor is going to get hit by the bailout and get shut down immediately as the fires of vengeance drop. VGA retaliates.
That was an explosion, if I've seen one. The Kaidazor was there, but even with the ultimate, he couldn't survive the huge barrage of CC and damage that was coming through. Great pickup. Oh,
we're not over yet, though. Dylan maybe going to be in a bad position here, as Smartass does have the Hextech ultimatum. He will be able to walk away.
Yeah, he's a strong bear, a buff bear. He's able to survive for quite a bit of time. But importantly, getting the dragon, so stacking quite effectively those 2 dragons already, going into that Infernal Soul. I think both of us failed, sadly. But
unfortunately.
It's a first drift, so we still have a couple of chances to get it right. And with those 2 dragons stacking already, that can be quite a good win condition to play for VGA, because GEB doesn't have much room for error now. They can give up 1 more dragon, and that's it.
Yep. And even worse than that, Lokidosi's got to be careful, though. Lokidosi's going to be in trouble.
Has no flash.
That is it. Popeng going to be able to pick up 1. Phoenix main will fall, and that is 2 easy kills. A great pick for Glacial Esports.
And really questionable positioning coming in from VGA because of where they were standing. They were trying to push into Vision, but their strongest member right now, it's the Bolivar. He's one of the highest value champions in the game right now for VGA, and the fact that he was not even close to that potential Vision warding, Vision play really was bad for the side of VGA. Now they would lose this turret. I think they should lose it.
Yeah, Silva just needs 1 more hit and will be able to get it. So 67 will not be able to stop the first tower of the game and the gold that comes with it to go over to Glacial Esports Black. For the first time in this game, GEB does have a slight advantage in gold. Most importantly, though, go ahead.
I was just going to say, getting that first turret, really good to try and just keep the game in their favor at least.
Exactly. And most importantly, though, as Popeng is able to pick up the second Rift Herald, first Shelly did not get any turret plate damage. So didn't get that extra 360 guaranteed gold because it was just a little late. Just the timing of it was a little off. But you do open up the bottom side of the Rift a little bit more, which we just discussed. You know, that is a potential win condition right now for VGA. They've stacked up 2 turret plates, and they have the opportunity to 2 dragons. They have the opportunity to go for that Infernal Soul, which could be a game-winning soul for VGA if they are able to get it. So by being able to open up the bottom side of the Rift, GEB is able to mitigate some of the pressure that VGA could potentially go for, and that could be the difference maker in deciding who gets this 3rd dragon.
Yeah, and especially with something that we talked about, right? We talk about the flanks potentially coming in from GEB, how they can play around the Camilo, getting good flanks and achieving a lot of damage, and getting that bot lane pressure, that bot lane damage was really good. Oh, I think Ginger is dead.
Uh-oh, number 2 Ginger gonna be in trouble. The Kindred scary, and the Kindred will be able to pick it up. Popeng now on a killing spree, 4-2-2, as Dylan's gonna try to be able to pick up some damage on the Sly Lego. Popeng is gonna be down to about 200 HP as we do get Delon going to have to run away. I keep on saying Delon because I have a friend named Delon, but Dylan gonna be able to survive, but has to use Stormbringer.
I feel like Dylan fits quite well with what we're seeing a little bit, but all in all, having to flash away did blew the flash from Popeng, so not that bad. But in that 3v1 situation, it was really going to be hard. And Ginger getting exploited in a really well manner. I really like how they baited out, particularly Kaidasuri, because he was taking a little bit of the poke damage, but positioning himself so that he could go for the claw in a really easy manner. Gets the pull into the Corki, forces out everything, and this Kindred is doing so much damage. I'm pretty sure she should have already the 4 marks.
And right before that, I really want to talk about this because it's something that teams have really a difficulty doing. GEB knew that Dragon was spawning in less than 2 minutes, and so they go for a play in the mid lane, but before Popeng gets there, decides to drop wards. It's going to be a Sly Lego being able to drop wards on the bottom side of the Rift to be able to get vision for their team. They now know that there is multiple members of VGA that are in the jungle looking to be able to potentially go in for a play. And with 18 seconds remaining, the dragon will be spawning shortly, and Shelly not going to get the headbutt. Will not be used effectively there, but still going to be a very, very interesting 5v5.
Yeah, now with the package as well, having such a good potential advantage coming in from VGA, there's not the Ludens yet on the Corki, but they have the package value. They are going to start for. I like this a lot. There's a lot of times that they over-prioritize the wave, and I think this is much better decision. And Keeper's Verdict, this is huge.
Looks like VGA is just looking to be able to mitigate any chance of GEB trying to be able to get in. 67 is going to be able to keep everyone out of position with the package, but it's not going to be enough to stop the death. Smart as will fall, so it's going to be a 1-for-1 so far. Dylan is going to be in trouble. Popeng's going to go in with the Lamb's Respite, so everyone's still going to be alive. Slight Lego is going to be low. Popeng is low. That's a shutdown. Kaidazor is going to go golden to try to be able to survive here. Going to go in for the healing, but it won't be enough. Dosi will pick up 1. He wants a multi-kill. He's going to get it. It's a triple kill for Lokidosi, and it's gonna be the ace for VGA.
That was so good from VGA. I really want to commend everything that happened there for VGA, but the thing that I want to commend the most, and it's the start of the play, because they went for the dragon, and this is something that I really don't like, and I see a lot of teams going for even in higher levels, when they over prioritize the wave to try and get the push and try and get control. But I think that with your composition, with the Poppy, the decision that they took is smart. They have the package, they have Keeper's Verdict. You run to the dragon, try and destroy the dragon before they come. Keeper's Verdict if the Kindred is close to try and push her away, and you also have the package in case she wants to jump. So all in all, you just set yourself up for a perfect team fight in there. And they had the numbers advantage as well when they pushed the Swain away. Really love how they played that. Yes, they took a couple of kills here and there, but all in all, it's just a huge victory for them.
And conveniently enough, TDS, it was right as Lokidosi was able to pick up his Muramana. So, you know, you had both Muramanas online for number 2 Ginger and for Lokidosi. It's that huge power spike that everyone knows about Tier of the Goddesses. You just are able to be a mean bully in the mid game, and that is exactly what VGA was able to do. And because of smart positioning and a smart play, they now have soul point, and in 3 minutes, they have the opportunity to potentially go for a 25-minute Infernal Soul.
Yeah, that is a really soonish soul to come into. And if they don't want to opt into that because they don't have the gold, wait a sec.
Yeah, 67's going to be in trouble. Keeper's Verdict will get started. Going to be able to get Popeng out of it. So now let's see if 67 can get away and be able to go in for the heroic charge onto Sly Lego. And now looking to potentially get turned here. VGA wants this fight. Sly Lego's going to be very, very low, but will not go down. The bailout's going to be enough, and 67 will also survive. Lokidosi with a nice, great play there on the arcane shift, gonna be able to find Lego out of position. It's a double kill for number 2 Ginger, looking to be able to go for the multi-kill here as well. That's gonna be Dylan, gonna be able to pick up the third as a teleport from 67 is now coming in. Hextech ultimatum onto number 2 Ginger. Ginger will fall, but Smartass is going to sacrifice their life for Ire, and it will end up being 4 kills, maybe even 5 for VGA as Silva looks to be able to escape the grasp of the Poppy. It was the Poppy that started the play, and it's gonna be the Poppy that ends it. It's gonna be VGA with their second ace of the match.
That sequence of events for VGA was so good as well. Like, looking at how they kept the Poppy alive was really, really nice as a team-wise effort to try and just get the teamfight win. But the sequence of events, once again, really good. The Poppy, great decision-making, pushing away the Kindred. That's the biggest danger to you because she has the Blade of the Ruin King. That is the thing that will kill you. Pushing her away, then waiting for the rest of the members to come. Also, great arcane shift by Lokidosi, setting up to bait the Camille out, and then when they kill a Sly Lego, when the ultimates are down, when the Swain doesn't have a lot of value, it just becomes an easier fight for the side of VGA. And we see how effective they can just play that and win the fight overall.
Yeah, it was looking rough for VGA. The game was starting to go back into Glacial Esports' favor, but the moment that those Muramanas came online, it was just an awakening for VGA. And now they are in a commanding lead, 6,000 gold advantage. They have the mid-tier 1 tower down. They are in river control to potentially pick up this Infernal Soul, and everything is looking and going according to plan for this blue side.
Yep. 2.5 items on the core key, 3 items on the Ezreal, opting for the Brother's Glow, which gives you more lethality. I'm much more of a fan of having just ability haste and being able to spam things out, but this overall is still fine. You have so much value already on the side of VGA, and GEB can be strong, but I think that the Camille is not yet at that spot that you really want her to be, and that can be quite defining. Dylan needs to be careful though.
Yeah, and what's scary for GEB is that this is a must-fight situation. Hostile Takeover gets used, and Dylan's just gonna walk right out of it. Doesn't even have to use Stormbringer in that situation. So that is gonna be a big initiating tool, not going to be available. Number 2 Ginger is gonna get rooted by Kaidazor, but Kaidazor is gonna get targeted, and Lokidosi is going to obliterate the Swain. Unstoppable here on the Ezreal, and now the fight is continuing. Stormbringer is going to be able to get the slow onto 2, and that's going to be Sly Lego going down. Lambs of Spite's going to come in as Lokidosi is going to come through to try to pick up even more kills. That's going to be number 2 Ginger picking up 1. That's going to be another ace for VGA, and that's gotta be the game.
Yeah, the Grim Reaper is cutting the neck of GEB in this game. It's just controlling so effectively this for VGA. VGA are playing so well in those team fights. It looked a little bit tough, but Dylan can't take that damage because he has a Yumi on his side. So it doesn't really matter how much he's going to take. When Kaidasuri gets the ultimate bait out, essentially, he's forced to commit. And this is something that we talk. When you don't have that immediate go button to try and force plays to happen or something like that, and you're really banking on the swing, finding a miracle angle or something like that, it can be quite difficult for GEB. And BJ are just managing the situation so effectively.
With Baron now secured, VGA has hit that magical number where their gold lead equals more than 10% of the total gold on the Rift. 10,000 gold lead for them. There's only 90,000 gold on the board right now, and according to Freak, there's like a 2% chance that Glacial Esports Black is going to be able to bring this game back at this point. The objective bounties have unlocked. The package is going to come through from the teleport from number 2. Ginger going to be able to get the burn damage onto Sly Lego, and Silva will fall as well. That's going to be 2 kills for this Corki. Now 6, 4, and 10. Poping's going to be the next target as the final chapter does get used, but they are just going to walk away, and it's going to be a 5 for 3 power play for the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, with that, oh wait, not Poping, 67 doesn't want this to end. He wants to go for the play, but takes a little bit too much damage, in my opinion.
Yeah, just trying to be able to force away Kaidazor, Poping, and Smartass from the mid lane, because that is the objective here. Get down the inhibitor, get down the Nexus turrets, and win the game. Well, I don't know if you're going to be able to win it with this push. You will indeed be able to get the inhibitor, and now you could potentially go for end. Stormbringer is ready for Dylan if they do want to try to commit to a play here, as Silva going to be taking a little bit of damage from the Sky Splitter. Going to be about another minute 30 until the Baron is gone, and it does look like VGA is looking to end the game. It's going to be massive damage from number 2 Ginger with those rockets. Going to try to drop the big ones. Going to try to drop the bombs. Going to try to force things forward as the Stormbringer now comes in. That is 1 tower down. Let's see if we can make it a double. As Smartass doesn't even have a chance to go in for that Hextech ultimatum. It's going to be another kill. Another multi-kill for VGA. They want to add to the stacks. They get 2 double kills, and they will be the ones that take game 1.
Yeah, and in what a fashion. As soon as the game took a turn for the better for VGA, it was unstoppable control. They had everything in their hands. They kept the pace of the game in such a way that it was almost impossible for GEB to turn back. And that dragon fight, that was such a pivotal turning point, because GEB was playing well. I think they were playing quite well at the start of the game. They were trying to fight back against VGA. They were tit for tatting in a lot of those trades. But that dragon fight, the third dragon, the first Infernal Dragon that came into the game, that was such a pivotal moment for Virtue Gaming, and I cannot express how much I loved the setup for that. Not necessarily the fight because it was a win, but the setup. I really like how it was executed by VGA.
I totally agree. And you know, PDS, you're an intelligent fellow. You talked about this in the draft. You talked about this in the draft. You said that really the only initiation tool that Glacial Esports has is that Camille. And if the Camille cannot go in to initiate a fight, Glacial Esports cannot start a fight on their own terms. And VGA knew that. Such a smart decision to go with that Poppy paired with the Corki. You have so much zone control, which really hinders your ability to initiate if you can't move around it, which Glacial Esports Black could not. And that fight was a prime example of the lackluster composition that was trying to go through here for for Glacial Esports. Now, Glacial Esports Black's composition wasn't bad. It just was outdrafted by Ambition, and they executed it well, especially in the mid game. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, I think we're going to bring Becky back in here. We're going to talk about the game. We're going to talk about game 2, and we're going to continue to keep this train rolling. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody. For game 2 of the series between Virtue Gaming Ambition and Glacial Esports, Black Virtue Gaming are up 1 in the series, taking that game 1 with a very convincing mid to late game after they had cleaned up their few missteps, a few mistakes that Glacial Esports were able to capitalize on, but the scaling power of the composition that Virtue Gaming Ambition provided was too much to match. So you two have already talked a bit about the oddities of Glacial Esports Black's draft, and in terms of how it led to some of the reasons they were falling behind in the game. What do both of you want to see from these teams going into game 2? I'm going to start with TDS. What do you want to see with coming from Glacial Esports, just briefly, to try and turn it around?
So I like their idea with what they had with some of the lanes, but they were losing quite heavily on the top side. And I really I understood the idea of the Camille because I think it's one of the better picks that you can opt for if you really don't know what to pick. But at the same time, it kind of took away from the idea of leaving for counter pick, right? If you want to go for Camille, I think is one of the better blind picks in top lane because she can essentially play in a lot of situations and shouldn't have much of a hard time. And I think that instead of the Camille, if you had something either more hyper carry in that sense, I think Jax could have maybe been a better option, even though it gets countered by the Poppy with the steadfast presence. There's no one that truly can answer him when he's online in the side lane. Like Poppy cannot. And Poppy can answer the Camille to a certain degree in the side lane, even if she's in a better spot. So I feel like playing for that counter pick in the red side could have been a better managed. And if not, you could have opted just for something with much better hard engage, like a Sejuani or a Gragas.
Okay, I like those ideas. Moose, for Virtue Gaming Ambition, what should they do to sort of adapt now that they are on the red side for game 2?
Well, I would like to. I think that overall, I mean, they won the game, obviously, so they kind of know what they're doing. But I feel like if there was a chance for Glacial Esports to win, it was going to be through the mid lane. It was going to be through Kaidazor being able to use that Swain effectively. And Corki did get caught out a couple of times. Did end up having a decent KDA, but not the best, dying a couple of times early on in the game. And I really feel like if you're able to continue to keep Kaidazor in a really tough position, then I think that you're going to be in a really, really strong spot. Like, I've lauded how well Azor has played previously, and once the game got out of control, yes, Kaidazor did not have the advantages and did not have the just phenomenal games that we've seen from him in the past, but you definitely cannot count them out moving into game 2. So I want to see Popang be able to find that power to be able to give the Swain a little bit more gold. I want to see them be able to utilize what advantages they can potentially draft, be able to get these carries off the ground and running so that they can then win out in the mid game. But overall, at the end of the day, like, just a little bit tighter drafting and maybe a little bit more focus on these carries might be the determining factor to give GEB the win.
Okay, let's see if these teams can tighten up the draft. If Glacial Esports can showcase the magic that we saw in the past 2 weeks, or Virtue Gaming can make history repeat itself and continue going undefeated against their fourth seed rivals. I'm going to throw it over to draft and let you two show us what these teams can do.
Thank you very much, Becky. Thank you very much. We said we have to keep it brief because these teams want to get back into it, but we want to talk about these. We want to talk about these games, and we want to talk about how important these drafts and how important these gameplays have become. And TDS, we saw how well VGA was able to play in game 1 in terms of being able to go in for that team fight coordination, to be able to go in for that just really strong power in the mid game. So we've seen them play a mid game comp, and now I'm really curious to see now on red side if they want to maybe repeat that.
Yeah, I think that they have a lot of good options to go for here. Now that we're changing sides, we're going to see something pretty different from what we saw in the first game in terms of bans, particularly with the Seraphine at the center, right? who is going to ban both of those champions? Are you going to let it up so that you can take one or the two if possible? How is the draft going to change? I think that Viego as well could be an option that we may see not getting banned away. So I'm really interested in seeing what happens. Two of the bans already the same as the first game, but I'm not expecting a lot to repeat. And there's the Yumi now.
Yeah, wanting to be able to take that Yumi away, that strong Enchanter support that was paired up so well with the Ezreal. And like you said, if Senna is not banned here by Glacial Esports, it is the obligation for VGA to either ban the Senna or have something available to be able to go up against the Senna TK. Best
Yeah.
option for that could potentially be that Vayne, for example. We've seen Vayne dominate that lane, be paired up with like a Nautilus or something like that. But it is somewhat difficult to do, and this is going to be a much different composition for VGA. You do not have the Yumi, you do not have the early game Volibear, and because the Volibear is not taken or not available, the Wukong gets locked in B1, which does leave the Udyr and the Trundle up for grabs.
Yeah, I still think that probably we may see the Viego. I think Viego is still a good matchup against the Wukong and can do quite a bit. Once again, BGA banning away both Surfing and Senna. This pretty much just tells me that they don't want to play at all. If they get the chance to just deny it, they will deny it. The Trundle, like you were calling out, actually could be the pick here. And yeah, they actually opt into the Trundle. I'm not against this because of the pillar value. And then you can also kind of play with the fact that the Trundle can also be flexed in certain matchups. So maybe that could be a thing as well for Virtual Gaming. And now, do they opt into the Renata like we saw in the previous game from the red side, or do they wait and pick something else? Maybe a safe AD carry could be the case.
Yeah, Ezreal, yeah, going to be that safe ED carry like you were talking about. Karma is still going to be available if you want to pair that with the Ezreal. The biggest weakness for Trundle is mobility.
Yeah.
Wukong has a little bit of mobility, but it's all very aggressive. And a trap that a lot of teams fall into when you play Wukong is you play a team that has to go pedal to the metal, that has to play aggressively, which gives VGA the upper hand here now that they've drafted the Ezreal that can be aggressive or defensive depending on how you want to play it. Vayne is going to be playing into that strategy. And so Glacial Esports Black, they are building a composition that is looking to be able to get in. It is completely different comp than we saw in game one. It is initiation, it is CC, and it is all of the damage as it continues to ramp up. And now it's up to VGA to be able to potentially counter that.
Yeah, it's a really interesting idea opting into the Rakan and the Vayne here. I like that we're seeing the Vayne because it's exciting, but it also opens up for the Puppey as well. I was thinking you can opt for the Corki as well because with that you get so much range advantage and you can play for that. And the Vayne shouldn't be online before the Israel and the Corki as well unless something goes horribly wrong. So I feel like that could be the choice, but I like the Puppey. Same value as the previous game with the denies. Actually, I think you get even a little bit more value because the three champions that are picked can get denied by the steadfast presence. And then you also have the hammer once again to just deny the engage from the Wukong.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. That is what is really big here is that every single one of these Glacial Esports champions are going to be denied by steadfast presence, and we already know that Poppy can land that. So a grand entrance grand entrance is going to be extremely telegraphed. Heroic entrance, or I'm sorry, steadfast presence should be able to deny that. Vayne with that tumble is a little bit harder to be able to execute on, and Wukong's Nimbus Strike can be difficult, but it still can be countered. And like you said, TDS, Glacial Esports is worried about the potential for back peel or counter initiation. The Renata gets banned out along with the Corki.
Yeah, a lot of bans that are interesting here, particularly the Corki, I think makes sense because it is adding extra range to the value of the comp. And I think that Karma, Corki, Ezreal could have been a little bit dangerous. Now, it does put yourself into a spot like similar to where Glacial were, where you don't have any sort of engage. So maybe BGA opt into something like that with the Nautilus this time around. You have the immediate engage that we were talking about, the go button to not really fall behind. If you're falling behind, you can just opt into going for the play and that will help you out. And I think the Nautilus certainly accomplishes that. I think against the the Rakan as well has a good matchup.
Exactly. And what's really, really important here is that both Nautilus and Rakan can roam around the map.
Yeah.
Vayne and Ezreal are perfectly fine going in for those 1v1s. And so I was going to say it before Lissandra got picked, but you have to be careful that in the mid lane, you do not get hooked by the dredge line. And Lissandra is going to give you a little bit of protection to do that for Kaidazor. The Swain would have been a little bit too rough But it also falls into that same strategy where Glacial Esports is pressing that go button and is looking to be able to get that extra movement speed. And so that is exactly going to be the
Ooh.
case. Every single one of these champions is looking to advance, 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 advance. With that Shirelius from the Rukon, you now have the Glacial Path from Lissandra as well as the kit from the Aatrox to be locked in to be able to initiate and potentially take down some of these important carries.
And now we fall into what is the counter pick in the top lane or mid lane. Like, I say top lane because Poppy may be flexed as well towards the mid lane, but it's going to be the Talia. And this, I'm not against this here because when the composition is like glacials, where their idea is going forward, the boulders from the Talia, I don't remember the name exactly. I think it's the something
The
the
threaded
word grab.
volley for the Q.
No, the E.
The
Because
E,
of the
scattered stones.
yeah, the Scarlet Stones, because of the new interaction that it has, everyone from the team of Glacial Esports can get a stunt. And that just immediately means that you're easier to execute on the side of virtual gaming. The wall as well can pair up quite easily with the Poppy. So you have a lot of value here that Celia may find. And she's not shackled to the lane because she can move around the map, try and go for another lane, help someone in the side lane, and then move back into the mid lane with the speed. I really like this pick here.
I really feel like for VGA to win this game, this is going to be a very macro intensive game. You have to be at the right place at the right time, and you have tools to do that. With the Ezreal, with the Talia, with the Nautilus, you do have mobility to be able to get to places quickly. And if you're able to do that, you're going to have a good chance to be able to win this game in a 5v5 setting. Glacial Esports is going to have a very tough time to be able to get to the backline, to be able to stick to those champions. Seismic Shove from the Talia is going to be extremely valuable. Nautilus's Dredgeline, Root, and Depth Charge are going to be able to be effective, as well as the Pillar from the Trundle. So I'm really looking to see if Glacial Esports now can actually initiate, because that was their biggest weakness in Game 1.
Yeah, that is what they have to play a little bit more for in this game. They do have the tools, which I think can be quite good. It's just how they execute and how they get the most out of their champions and their composition. So I'm excited to see how they can perform, and I'm pretty sure they will be able to push the go button. I think Virtual Gaming as well has quite a few good answers to stop them from happening. So I feel like we may have an even more action-packed team. Like, I'm expecting a lot of fights coming in from, I won't say minute 1, from minute 5, I think we're going to get quite a lot of fights.
It sure is. It sure is. And so I'm very, very excited to see how well Virtue Gaming Ambition is going to be able to keep up that success from Game 1. They talked about it in the chat. There is, now the big question is, was the Poppy, and is the Poppy going to be more effective than the Corki that got banned out? Is the Talia going to be able to be effective? Because it is very much a feast or famine mage in the mid lane here for Virtue Gaming. If number 2 Ginger is able to pop off with it, it's going to be a really, really tough game for Glacial Esports. But you get to the late game, or you give that snowball over to Glacial Esports, they are taking this to a 1-1 series. Folks, I got to ask you guys one more time. TDS, I got to ask you, what is going to be the Dragon Soul and Rift here for Game 2?
I'm all up for an Ocean. I think Ocean could be fine, and I think a lot of pushes may be fun to watch as well.
Doubling down on the Hex Tech.
Ooh.
I'm doubling down on the Hex Tech, guys. Now, I got a question. I know, right? I got that question for you guys as well, chat. I want to know what the dragon is going to be. If I see any Chemtech Drakes on the chat, I am not going to be happy, but you know what? It's Grand Finals. We're having a good time regardless. We're going to take that quick break, and when we return, game number 2 of the VTS Grand Finals will commence. We'll be right back.
Hearing voices from afar. Join the madness when the curtain falls. Risk it all, hold nothing back. Seize the day, we must attack. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding. Only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies. The champions of a world that we define. A solar ray of the few who rise up high. And we all to fall the giants? Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we bring to fall the giants? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies, the champions of the world that we defy. A solar ray of the few who rise up high, and we all fight at the last light.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the VTS. My name is Moose, and I'm joined here by the one and only TDS. Major League Sports Black is looking to be able to rebound after that Game 1 defeat and even out the set score 1-1. TDS, I mean, any expectations, any predictions on how this game is going to be played out as we begin it?
I think just because it caught my eye, the Aatrox is running Ignite Flash. So I expect an attempt at a solo kill at level 2 or 3. I think it's bound to happen.
That is a reasonable prediction. You know, that's a reasonable prediction, TDS. You know what? That's a good idea. I appreciate that. But, you know, with that being said, though, let's go ahead and go over the rosters really quickly. Glacial Esports Black, like I stated, going to be over on the blue side. Currently, 1 game down, VGA. We got Smartass going to be playing as that Aatrox. Popeng with the Wukong in the jungle. We got Kite Azur with the Electrocute. Lissandra going in with that Flash Teleport. Silva going to be playing as the Vayne along with Sly Lego. Going to be playing as that Rakan. They're in the support role. Glacial Esports, they are looking to be able to take this game too.
Yeah, they really want to force it. They have the tools, and I hope that they can perform to give us an entertaining series.
I agree. And you know, like I said, whoever wins game 2, my prediction is whoever wins game 2 is going to win the series. So very important here for Glacial Esports to win it. They will have my vote if they're able to do so. But their opponents, Virtua Gaming Ambition, top seed of Group A, undefeated in their group, beating Glacial Esports in the regular season, are looking to be able to do it once again here in this grand finals. Virtue Gaming Ambition, their roster 67 for the second game in a row. Gonna be playing as that Poppy. Dylan gonna be coming in with that Trundle. As we got number 2 Ginger gonna be going in for a trade against Kaidazor on that Talia. Lokidosi be playing as that Ezreal for the second time this game, and Phoenix Main be coming in as the Nautilus here. That is going to be your roster for VGA in Game 2 as we get our first potential gank of the game. Dylan is going to go in for the pillar, and the target's going to go in on the Sly Lego, who's going to be forced to flash away. The heal's going to come through as well as the exhaust is going to drop. Are they going to be able to pick up the kill? The root's going to land on the Silva. The root will come in, but it won't be enough. All 4 summoner spells get expended for GEB's bottom side.
Yeah, they tried to go for a lane with an Ignite. It wasn't the top lane, but they tried to go for the play. And I think if VGA had level 2 before this happens, I think they can probably go for a kill. So pushing the, I like that they are committing to push the wave here because it screws up quite heavily with the Ezreal. So a smart play here, but Wukong is on the side.
Yeah, and now they're looking to be able to go in. The teleport's going to come through as we do get the
flash.
knockup over to the lawn. No flash to be able to escape, and that's first blood. It goes over to Silva, so double buffs and 400.
Yeah, the play, I like the pushing on the play. I did like that they are attempting to dive, because even if the Wukong wasn't on the side, Lissandra still has teleport, which means that she can respond to the play. Oh.
Okay, Sly Lego's now going to be the target as the Condemn gets used by Lokidosi, who's only level 2. Will not be able to continue to keep the push going, so again, Lokidosi is going to be in a tough spot.
Yeah, actually, Lego putting himself into a dangerous spot, but Wukong is on the side. Maybe a little bit dangerous. Also, Silva collected the kill. I actually wasn't noticing the fact that Silva collected the kill, so that is also a huge win for GEB. Getting the Bane already started in quite a good way can be really important. Oh.
Cleanse is available for number 2 Ginger, but he has no mana, so gonna be a little difficult there as we do get another gank coming through. Steadfast Presence used effectively, and Smartaz will fall 67, picking up 300.
Yeah, Dylan may have failed on the play on bot lane, but on the top side he gets revenge and goes for the kill into the Aatrox. And this is where the Ignite value kind of falls quite a bit, because now you cannot teleport back into the top lane. You may lose quite a bit of the lane CS and may fall down much more than you really want to. Oh, Ginger is fine. Yeah, he's nothing much will happen there.
Ginger's gonna be okay, but he has no mana, nor does he have a way back to the lane.
Yep.
With 3 members of GEB now in the mid lane, they are looking to be able to exploit that as much as possible. First Strike is going to be the keystone, though, for Ginger, so the longer that the game goes on, the more powerful that gold lead is going to become. But most importantly here is that Ginger has decided to go in for another Tier of the Goddess here in this game. It is a 2 Tier of the Goddess lineup for VGA so far, so very similar to their strategy that was last game.
Yeah, and I find that interesting. I'm not much of a Talia player, but I feel like to start early on with a tier, not necessarily bad, but I feel like you spam already so much your mana, especially with the work ground, that I feel like you can go for the Durance Ring and then opt into the tier.
Not necessarily. I mean, you know, in my experience, you don't want to be going for like a Doran's Ring, for example, because you're not an early game champion. You don't necessarily care if you fall behind early on. Your objective is to spike in the mid to the late game. So Tier of the Goddess does allow you to do that, but it does put you a little bit behind on being able to pick up your mythic item, which is so effective. Nice wombo combo going to go in for number 2 Ginger, going to be able to get the stun onto Kaidazor. But like I said, you know, very important to be able to get that mythic item, whether it be the Everfrost or the Ludens. Regardless of that, you like having the Tier of the Goddess because it does give you a little bit more mana to be able to continue to spam those abilities.
Okay, that sounds understandable if I'm honest. And oh wait, Dylan is in a really bad spot here.
Yeah, gonna be a really difficult position as he's gonna get caught out, but Popang is gonna be falling as well, so it's a 1-for-1. And Silva's gonna get hit by the dredge line. That's an easy kill for Phoenix Main, and now the play is gonna be disastrous here for Glacial Esports. Number 2 Ginger's gonna use the cleanse to be able to get away, gonna flash forward, wants the kill onto Sly Lego, and will look to try to pursue it. No. Does have the Weaver's Wall available, and is gonna go for it in the mid lane. Gonna go in for the seismic shove, going to be able to get the shove, but not the stun. So at the end of the day, it's just 2 kills.
Yeah, could have been a bit more. I think Ginger tried to do much more than he needed, and that's why at the end they don't get much more than 2 kills. But stopping the dragon and getting 2 kills onto two of the most important members right now for the side of GB, I think that's a pretty important victory for VGA. Oh, getting the kill onto Silva, I think it's so nice. And now coming back for round 2, Talia is not close by though. Lissandra is, so they need to be careful.
Yeah, who's going to be able to get the dragon? Dylan's going to be at about half HP. Who gets the dragon? Loki Dosi's going to be able to take down Sly Lego. And that's going to be Silva being able to take down Dylan. So it's a 1-for-1. Loki Dosi wants to be able to pick up more kills, but it's an overstay from VGA. And it's a triple kill for Silva on the Vayne.
They were smart and they dumped it out later on, because that is a play that doesn't need to happen at all. You have your Talia back in base. You know that because you saw her on your minimap. She's on your team. You know she's not close by. Punished completely by the side of GB, and that fight that they just won from the side of VGA, completely useless. That doesn't matter anymore. 4-1 on the Bane by minute 8. That's not something that you ever want to see. Oh, 67.
Yeah, Smartass, though, is going to be in trouble as the World Ender does get dropped. Infernal Chains, as well as the Keeper's Verdict. Smartass is going to be able to get the healing. 67 wants the kill. Going to go for the shield bash. Going to force a flash out of the Aatrox. And is going to be very close to death. And that should be enough for Dylan to be able to pick up the kill. Yes, it will be. And VGA will be able to get a little bit of a rebound, with Dylan being able to pick up one.
Still think that that play that happened in Boston is so big that can really just mean the later stage of the game for the side of GB, but at least shutting down the Aatrox, I think it's a nice place to be if you're VGA, right? Because you don't allow the Aatrox to be a carry, and now GB will have to depend much more on the Bane.
Exactly. 4-1-1 on that Bane, like you had said. Noonquiver and then the Vampiric Scepter are unlocked, so we're looking at about 1,200 gold, I believe, until the until that Immortal Shield Bow gets taken, and then we can really start to get that damage. Looking to potentially be a Gwynsu's Immortal Shield Bow build, I believe, is the play here. And so just looking to be able to get that on hit, looking to just be able to utilize Lethal Tempo as effectively as possible, but it is still going to take a little bit of time before Silva is completely online.
Yeah, I actually was thinking maybe opting into the Kraken Slater wouldn't have been bad this particular game, but like you're calling out, I think that it's going to be the much safer option so that the Bane doesn't particularly get bursted out if something goes horribly wrong, and that way you can have a little bit more uptime on your lifesteal as well as your shielding can be a little bit better. But like we were saying, it's a lot now on Silva because the Aatrox is not on the best of spots. If he can find value, then it's not going to be that bad for the Bane. But as of now, I think that it's a little bit more harsher on the Bane.
I agree. Like, you have to be able to make sure that you're effective here. But the same thing can be said for number 2, Ginger. As he's going to get cleansed, he's going to get knocked up. He's going to be in trouble as the Ignite gets used. That will be enough to be able to pick up a kill against the Talia. But it's going to be Smartass that just gets targeted and bullied this entire series so far. 67 with their second kill.
Yeah, 2 games, I don't know how many deaths, but you have to feel for Smartass. He has been taking the full front of Dylan going in and going for the ganks and getting the most value. But for BGA, collapsing back, countering back a kill in the mid lane with another kill on the top lane, and they have Herald, so maybe they can try and push for the turret. Herald and a Trundle.
Yeah, what's really been interesting here is that 67 has had such a powerful performance here on the Poppy in this series so far, and has had the opportunity to just continue to find plays, and as he does that, he makes a bonehead move and gets shut down immediately by Popeng, who just cyclones him under tower.
That wasn't pretty to watch, nor would I say was smart, but it was to try and send a message, I feel. And if the Poppy does get the stun onto the turret, I think she does have enough damage to get the kill. Still wouldn't recommend it, but I think that's the idea there. It still gets the 2 plates of gold, and it's still getting a lot of value over the Aatrox. I think all in all, Poppy's not in a bad situation or in a sad situation, but Aatrox now can answer back with some plates of his own, actually watching the minimap.
It is a 900 gold advantage for Poppy, 67 at 4,200 gold. It is an even game in the jungle, a 300 gold lead for Kaidazor, and then massively an 800 gold lead for Silva against Loki Dosi. That is the big advantage that GEB is really hoping to be that catalyst here for this next dragon. Spawning in 40 seconds, it is not a dragon that VGA has to take. But if they do opt for it and they're able to get it, they could really stop the momentum that GEB has been focusing on here in the bottom lane.
They're posturing to showcase that they really, really want to try and force it, or at least fight it. And they know that they can also opt into this with the 4v4 because there's no one on the with support that can respond this. Although now looking for the topside play, Wukong is also moving. So are they going to ignore this dragon from both teams?
It looks like that might be the case, as we got wards from both sides trying to be able to get this. This is a 2v2 potentially in the bottom lane here. Number 2 Ginger does have Weaver's Wall, as the Seismic Shove is going to lock down. The stun's going to come in. Kaidazor is going to be the target, going to be able to get the root, but does have to get away using that Glacial Path. Going to be down to about half HP. Does that teleport, though, to be able to come back to the lane or potentially combat this dragon if they so desire. Let's see if that is going to be an effective play here for VGA this time.
Looks like not the case.
Looks like that is going to be the case, and we're both wrong, TDS. No. It's a Mountain Soul and Rift here for game number 2, as Kaidazor a little bit forward, going to be potentially dashed upon by 67. We do also get the use of the Weaver's Wall by number 2 Ginger to try to get back into the mid lane. Well, it doesn't result in a kill. Kaidazor is going to be down to about a quarter HP, and maybe going to be in trouble here. Going to be able to use the Glacial Path to survive, as Silva and Sly Lego are now looking to be able to get damage in the bottom lane.
Yeah, trying to get that plate. The Bane does collect the plate, so still value that you can find for GB. Nobody dies either from the side of Gap, so I think... Oh, wait, number 2 Ginger too far forward.
Yeah, gonna have Flash available and could potentially use it to be able to escape, but it's gonna be a double Flash play, and number 2 Ginger will fall. Third kill of the game for Popang, using that Cyclone to great effect. Meanwhile, in the top lane, 67 is going to be able to take down the first tower, and now Kaidazor is going to potentially get targeted here. We do get the Glacial Prison used, now looking to be able to go in for some more damage. Kaidazor can win out on this fight, but he does have to worry about Dylan, who's now on the way, and that's going to be the flash coming in from 67 to try to be able to keep Kaidazor into a bad spot. The root's going to land, and that's going to be just enough to keep Kaidazor alive. Maybe not, as Dylan's going to continue to fight for it. Phoenix Bane and Lokidosi in a 3v2 here in the bottom lane, but Kaidazor does not go down. The tower gets taken, a bunch of summoner spells get used, but at the end of the day, it's a 1-0 in favor of GEB.
Yeah, that's not really happening for the side of VGA, which they tried to go for some of the kills. Oh.
Hey, Popang versus Dylan, who's going to be able to win this 1v1? The Chomp is going to take a little bit of AD from Popang, but the Crushing Blow is going to be able to take damage away from Dylan, and that's going to be enough to be able to force the flash out of the Trundle. Wukong wins that 1v1.
With ulti, I think Trundle can take it even with the ulti of the... Oh, wait, that is aggressive.
We're going in. Silva's going to be able to be flashing away from the True Shot Barrage. He's going to be down to about 200 HP, but Phoenix Bane is going to be taking tower damage. Silva on a rampage.
They are getting so baited by this Bane. Like, I understand that you think the Bane is alone, but I think there's essentially no vision bot side. Like, I'm really curious why they thought that play could ever happen when there's absolutely no vision. There's one ward, and it's way too far away from the bot lane to really be considered a ward on the bot lane. And getting punished, like, that is so good coming in from the side of GB. Oh,
Ginger's not going to be able to get hit by the knockup, and that's Sly Lego get punished for that aggression. Ginger will be able to pick up one, and denying a potential 3-man gank from GEB.
So if you look at it from one side, I was right. I told you we were going to have a ton of action, and we're having a ton of action. So I take it. I like this. Oh, 67?
67's going to get hit by the double Cyclone, going to be able to get the dash onto Popang to be able to stay alive. 67 has been so good with these heroic charges to be able to get into better positions, to be able to stay alive, and is exactly what they've been able to do for the majority of this contest. Now looking to be able to continue to keep up that aggression and the momentum that having teleport provides. 67 is back with full HP and a knack for being able to get really good Keeper's Verdicts. Let's see if they're going to be able to do it, as Popeng is going to be potentially in trouble. Keeper's Verdict is still available. Going to go for the knockup. Popeng does not have Cyclone, and Popeng will die. Shutdown going to go over to number 2 Ginger, and that's going to be Rift Herald secured for VGA. But what more do they get out of it as the Weaver's Wall does get dropped? Number 2 Ginger going to be able to come in onto Smartass, going to be able to slow him down with the Scattered Stones, and that's another kill for VGA. It's a 2-0.
And now it's 0-4 for the Aatrox. Now I want to point you towards the bot lane, because look who's down there. It's your carry, the one that is 5-1-1. I would like to see the gold because I don't know how far ahead she is, but she has a lot of your gold right now. Yeah, 7,000 of your gold is on the pockets of the Bane. You cannot go into a fight without the Bane close by. And this is something that we talked about, right? Like, a lot of the carry pressure is on the Bane at this point in the game. But if you know that, you cannot simply decide to fight with the other members that don't have the gold. And great punishment by VGA in that regard.
Absolutely a misplay, 100% from GEB, and you said it correctly there. Without the Vayne present, you just don't have the damage to be able to get through Phoenix Main and Dylan. So you end up giving those 2 kills over. You end up giving the Rift Herald over to VGA, so they're going to be able to use that here, potentially in the mid lane, to unlock that. Dragon is spawning in about a couple of seconds, and that is going to be the play. Rift Herald will get dropped in the mid lane, and now GEB has to make a decision. They are going to go for Dragon. Are they going to be able to get it, and will they be able to get out of the play to begin with? Dragon's going to be down to about 2,000 HP, 1,000 HP, and it will be secured for GEB, but at what cost? 1 tower was taken in the mid lane, now maybe looking to go in for more, as Dylan's going to be hit by all of the CC. Going to go in for the Subjugate to try to be able to stay alive. It's still alive and does not go down. Dylan will be able to survive for so long there, but Popeng's going to get a nice Cyclone. Make it a 2-4-1 trade. Make it a 3-4-1 trade. Shutdown's going to go in onto Silva. More gold in the Vayne's pocket. Loki Dosi, though, will be able to come in to make it a 3-for-2. Dragon for tower. GEB, though, getting the better end of that deal.
Not gonna lie, I really thought that Smartass was going to be able to get the kill in that 1v2 just because of the W of the third Q coming in to get the heal. But the Poppy does secure the kill on that, and it looked like the fight was going to be much more in favor of VGA. Like, Trundle wasn't dying, everyone was rushing into the Talia's rods and getting full brunt of the damage. But the Wukong, I think, did so much in that fight. The double knockup into then running away and killing the Wukong, the Trundle, bought enough time so that the Bane could really cover the team fight. And that is the kind of fight that you want to see if you're on GB's side, right? The Bane free hitting, everyone taking full front of the damage, and you're just winning the fight at the end. Yes, it was 2 turrets for 1 dragon and the team fight victory for GB, but I think for GB that is a really, really valuable.
Right now, though, I mean, what's really important is that number 2 Ginger is not building into that Seraph's Embrace, just really using the Tear of the Goddess to be able to get that extra mana. The objective for this Talia right now is to go in for that Zhonya's Hourglass, to have the opportunity to be that really effective battle mage that they can be, and really competing with Kaidazor, who's now 1-0-6. Pretty much the same exact build, but with the added bonus of the Dark Seal. 8 stacks on that means an extra 40 HP or 40 AP for your Lissandra, which can be what gives you the edge in these team fights.
Yeah, and Lissandra is going to be the main magical damage dealer, so having that extra damage may turn around some fights like you're pointing out. So I'm quite interested in seeing how much value does that find, and if the Lissandra ever ups into maybe going for the Magi's.
Number 2 Ginger's gonna get targeted, gonna get hit by the Frozen Tomb. The teleport's now gonna come in from 67 to make this a 3v1 trade. It gets denied. Number 2 Ginger's gonna go golden, trying to be able to survive, but can't quite do it. And Dylan doesn't even try to go in for a counterplay on Kaidazor. He ends up going back into the mid lane. So disaster for VGA as GEB is able to get the macro advantage that they were looking for.
Yeah, and that was also a summoner coming in from the Talia that gets denied, as well as the teleport from the Poppy. So all in all, great value that they find. Looking at the timers, I think the Aatrox did flash though, so flash for the teleport. Not sure if that's the best trades that you can certainly opt into, but it did net them the kill on the Talia, and nothing was traded in favor for the side of VGA. Oh, Trundle, you're in a ward.
Yeah, Dylan going to try to see if they can do what they can, but is going to get hit by the quickness, going to get stunned, going to get CC'd, and is going to die. Smartass will reset his gold and will be able to take down the Trundle, and now a 5v4 power play for the next 30 seconds, giving the opportunity for them to potentially go for Baron. Baron is down to about 8,000 HP and is continuing to go down. Number 2, Ginger does not have Weaver's Wall. Used it to be able to get there, but will they be able to make a play happen? As Kaidazor's going to go in, going to be able to use the Frozen Tomb to go golden. Who gets the Baron? It will go over to GEB, but Kaidazor will die in the process. Who's going to die as well? A massive multi-man knockup from Popeng is going to be able to obliterate the health bars of VGA as both number 2 Ginger go down and Lokidosi is going to be very low. That could have been far worse for VGA, but GEB are still going to come out on top.
Yeah, GB getting the Baron, getting the kills onto the Bane. The Bane is untouched, so you really don't care if some of the other members died, because the Bane is still getting value, and decision-making coming in for BGA has been really, really questionable. Trundle staying on that bush when he's watching his teammates return to base, like both Nautilus and Poppy were back at base. Staying on that bush was never going to be useful for you, especially when you don't even have any sort of vision, so the punishment was just so marvelous from GB, and the Baron was, if they don't commit for the fight, which I think was completely unneeded, they just get a scot-free 5-man Baron, and they can just immediately rotate for this Dragon that they are essentially going to do as well.
Yeah, we talked about the power of the Vayne, and Vayne has arrived. 3 items there. Going to have that Gwynsu's as well as the Phantom Dancer to just continue to be able to deal out damage into the backline. You must kill Silva if you want any chance of winning this game. BGA is going to sacrifice a couple of their towers to go in for a dragon to deny soul point for GEB, but at what cost? They lose the mid-tier 1 tower, now looking to be able to potentially defend the tier 2. They have to rotate very, very long ways around. Number 2 Ginger does still have the Weaver's Wall, but decides not to use it as the mid-tier 2 tower goes down.
Yeah, I think trading the dragon for the mid-tier 2 and mid-tier 1 feels kind of bad, but at the same time, I think that for BGA, this is a better choice. Because realistically, they already took both of the GEB turrets. Oh wait, Popeng?
Popeng not going to get hit by the seismic shove, so should be okay. And the Baron is up for about another minute, so potentially a reset and one final push if they want to go for it.
Yeah, I think maybe opting into one of the side lane as well, trying to get that secondary turret in the side lane could be really, really ideal. And I think that that could be one of the ideas of the play, but first it seems maybe they just decide to back off, form a little bit more, and try and force the fight in the next 4 minutes.
I think that that is, the important part here for VGA is, are they going to be able to find that team fight that they need? A couple of conditions have to happen. One of those conditions has to be that Silva gets targeted. Silva does not have flash available and only has heal. So if you are able to get onto the Vayne, if you are able to pick up that carry with that 650 gold bounty, I don't care who gets the gold as long as she's dead, you potentially win that team fight.
Yeah, really, like the Bane is the main damage dealer, and that's 100% what you're worrying about. I'm not sure if I... Okay, yeah, it's back. Okay, I was actually getting worried, but yeah, it feels like the setup, the fight. Ooh,
okay, we're going to initiate in on to Dylan as he gets hit by a ton of damage, but it's going to be Slide Lego that's going to die first. It's going to be a 1-for-1 so far as Phoenix main goes down. Dylan's going to be very low. Silva is godlike. Number 2 Ginger's going to try to go in for those walls, but Popeng going to go in with a Cyclone. Kaidazor is still alive. Popeng goes golden. Silva is alive. 67 does not survive, but it's a triple kill for the Vayne. A shutdown onto Lokidosi and a triple kill for the Ezreal, making a quadra kill. And the play is an ace for VGA.
How did Silva end up in that spot? Like, yes, they turned back to try and protect him, but it was because Silva was in such a horrible spot. And we talked about this, you talked about this. He had no flash. So him putting himself in such a dangerous spot meant that he was going to die. And the advantage that VGA took out of that position mistake, it's golden. Because that means that now they not only are able to shut down, stop a little bit of the bleeding that they were onto, but they can now get positioning for any of the objectives that they want. Be it the Baron or the Dragon, they can try and position themselves to try and contest for them once again.
huge play that
Yeah.
shut down 1,000 gold plus
it's on Loki
another
Dosi,
3
right?
kills. Yeah, all onto Loki Dosi. All onto Loki Dosi. So put that into perspective. Loki Dosi
He's equal now.
goes back to base and picks up an immediate Frozen Heart. Doesn't have any of the components before going back. Picks up an immediate Frozen Heart. 2,400 gold secured for the VGA ADC, which is absolutely huge. Number 2, Ginger is going to try to go in for an aggressive play. Is going to be able to go in for the teleport. And will that be enough for Loki Dosi to be able to come in for that damage? Number 2, Ginger's going to get hit, and Silva's going to be able to take down one. But Silva's going to get targeted. Going to get hit by the depth charge. Loki Dosi goes in. Loki Dosi is not able to pick up the kill, as Silva's looking to be able to go in for what damage he can. Silva is still alive. Silva is still alive. It's a triple kill for the Vayne, trying to be able to get more, but Dylan is able to pick it up. It's a triple kill for the Trundle, and it's the Trundle that saves the day for VGA as they pick up their second ace of the game.
How? That looks so awful for one side, and then once again, looks so good for the other. Everything is just chaos. Loki Dosi dashing in to try and get the kill into the Vayne. And it almost happens. It actually almost happens. The shield bow was so crucial in that fight to keep the Vayne alive for long. But also, I want to shout out 67. He played that team fight super well, stayed alive for so long, and then also was able to keep the Aatrox away from killing him. So this is becoming way too chaotic of a game. 21 to 23 at 27 minutes. That's too much.
That was not a fight that Glacial Esports had to go for once again. Silva either didn't have flash or wasn't able to use it. He didn't have it. That was the whole thing. He did not have it. It is just now barely up. Now that Silva has flash, you do have the positioning advantage, and Silva, for the most part on that fight, had great positioning, was just on that crevice, and denied VGA from being able to pick up that damage. But then you tumble in to the Trundle, who just takes a bite out of you, and you just pick up another big kill for VGA and another big team fight ace. Sly Lego is out of position because he did not use the blast cone correctly, and now he is in trouble. Could he potentially be the target here for fight as Baron does get started? GEB, they are scared of what is happening as Trundle is now down in the bottom lane, going to be able to pick up the Mountain Drake. Will it be enough for them to be able to pick up the Baron, though? Popeng is going to be down to about a quarter HP, going to be down to less than 1 HP. The quickness is going to get used, but Popeng is going to die to Baron. Disaster. GEB, as smart as it's gonna die, it's gonna be 2 kills for VGA. Make it a third potentially, as Kaidazor is gonna go golden. They will indeed get it. Number 2, Ginger will go in with the Weaver's Wall, and it's gonna be another ace potentially for the side of VGA. Sly Lego will fall. Number 2, Ginger picks up another kill, and he's gonna look to try to go for the double, as Silva won't be able to get it. It's another shutdown. It's another ace. It's another Baron, and VGA has taken this game into their control.
Nobody even dies from VGA. 5 men stay strong, stand their ground, and win the team fight. And once again, I'm not actually sure how Popeng died at the start. Crucially dies with ultimate, and that was, I think, the decision from GEB in that regarding forcing the Baron is the right one. Because Trundle is down on bot side. He's trying to kill the dragon. Namely, they don't know 100% that the Trundle is a dragon. But as soon as you see 4 members only, I think you have to commit 100% onto the Baron. And they wanted to flip-flop between the two because of the angle that Sly Lego had. And that just meant that when VGA could disengage, one of the things that Ezreal does amazingly, disengages, it just allows for Trundle to get to the fight. They are completely disjointed, they commit too much, and then Silva dies as well. Well, died way later, but he took so much damage at the start of the fight that he essentially was non-existent.
An incredible, an absolute incredible performance there from VGA, as number 2 Ginger is going to get targeted. Dylan's going to get hit by the Everfrost. Now Ginger is going to be the target here, going to die, as Popeng will be able to pick it up. But now Phoenix Main is going to come in for a potential 2v3, and Dylan wants this fight. We've also got 67 on the way as well to make this a 3v3. Loki Dosi is in pursuit as well, as the Glacial Path does not get initiated upon from Kaidazor. This is a 4v5. Are they going to be able to get it? Who's going to be able to get the damage? Dylan is going to be able to pick down Kite Azor, but Silva's going to be the target here for VGA. They target better. They get the play that they want, and they pick up another 4 kills. Bartez just watches in horror as his whole team collapses.
artists cannot join these fights, and this is the price that you pay for the ignite, right? Like not having that teleport really means that you're going to be a non-factor in a lot of team fights if you're simply not already on the place. And that was the main difference, I think. 5v4 consistently. Oh,
Okay, Smartass wants it though. This is a 2v1. I don't think he wins this. I don't think he wins
he
this.
doesn't.
And he sure doesn't. But you know what?
That was closer though.
You gotta go down with the ship.
Yeah, he tried, and I think he actually could have done it if not for the Nautilus being there. Like, I think if it was any other champion, not Nautilus and maybe Poppy, I think probably can get the kill onto Lokidosi. But this is the thing with Ezreal, like, your positioning is always so comfortable because you not only have that extra movement that you get with the Arcane Shift, but you also have the slows that your build gives you. Like 6 items strong coming in for Lokidosi, 2 items that give you slows. That is just so good to keep your distance against enemies so consistently.
It is a blue build Ezreal for the most part. No Everfrost, but Eclipse has blue in it, so we'll call it the purple build coming in for this Ezreal here with that red coming in from the
I would
Eclipse.
say Aquamarine build. I feel like it's kind of Aquamarine.
Aquamarine?
Aquamarine.
Aquamarine. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Aquamarine.
Aquamarine.
Well, regardless of the color, I don't think that Lokidosi is blue right now. He has been able to take control of this ADC position and has been able to beat out Silva in the gold charts at the 32-minute mark. It's a very close game in terms of gold, but for the most part, Silva was in an advantage, and now being able to take that and being able to make it happen. Yes, at 33 minutes into the game, gold doesn't necessarily matter as much, but the fact that you were able to pick up so many towers, the fact that VGA has had control of the game for the last 5 minutes, it has been huge. As we do get initiation, Sly Lego, that's the power of Talia, just bursts down the Rakan before quickness can get used.
Yeah, and dies 23 seconds before the 4th dragon spawning for VGA. And it's Mountain Soul, so you're going to take quite a long time before killing them effectively. They have just so much control, like you're pointing out, winning those fights previously. Oh, Ginger?
Yeah, number 2 Ginger is not going to get hit by the Cyclone, but will be down to about half HP. 2 seconds remaining until the dragon spawns, and GEB doesn't even want to contest it. They're going to give it over. They're going to give over all of those resistances to VGA. Not only do you get the dragon with the soul, which gives you the max health shield, but it's also an extra 24 armor and magic resist that are on every single one of your champions. Can we take a look at Lokidosi really quick? I want to see how much armor he's got right now. 185 armor for the Vayne, 162 armor for number 2 Ginger, 225 armor for this Ezreal.
Yeah, all in all, not a bad situation. Oh, Ginger finds the Wukong, hoping he's dead, and he has Guardian Angel as well, so it's double the value.
Yeah, terrible there. Nice 5-man ult, but unfortunately it has no effect. It's not very effective. That would have
been great 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, unfortunately. Great 15 minutes ago. Shoulda, coulda, woulda is the name of the game here for Glacial Esports Black. Whether it was the top lane Canyon that 67 was able to have, or just the team fights that VGA were able to get, they are looking to end the game here with that Mountain Soul as number 2 Ginger is able to take down Smartass. Lokidosi is going to be able to be dominating, taking down Kaidazor, and it doesn't matter. Sly Lego comes back in with the quickness, immediately dies. It is just adding to the stat lines as VGA takes game 2, and they're on game points.
So, do they actually need more stats? Because it's 23-38. Like, I'm pretty sure Lokidosi is happy with the 14 kills that he got, even if he doesn't add more to it. But damn, VGA, that was a crazy game from both sides because we had non-stop fighting. They went in consistently, and it was really entertaining. But you really have to go back to that fight inside of the jungle, of the red side jungle for our BGA, right? When they were able to find Silva, 1,000 gold shutdown going into the pockets of Lokidosi, and that really felt like it was a turning point for the game.
100%, like I said, they were able to pick up a frozen heart out of that, and that frozen heart was able to slow down Popang enough to be able to give Virtue Gaming Ambition the power and the time that they needed to be able to take this game. I mean, we've got a couple of questions there for Glacial Esports Black. Why did Smartass decide to go with the Ignite instead of the Teleport? Why did Silva have such poor positioning when he didn't have Flash? These are questions that are going to have to get answered if Glacial Esports Black wants to bring this series back. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, we'll go back to the desk one more time, potentially, to see Becky and get their thoughts on this match and this series. Definitely don't go anywhere, as Game 3 will begin momentarily.
Welcome back, everybody, for Game 3 and match point in this final series for the Victoris Triumph series between Virtue Gaming Ambition and Glacial Esports Black. Glacial Esports Black down 0-2. Their luck seemingly has run out. What else can they do? what is so different about what we're seeing today compared to the performances we saw throughout the rest of playoffs?
I don't think that Glacial Esports is playing bad. I don't think that they are playing a bad game. I don't think that they're playing a bad laning phase. It is just that VGA has played better. The drafting has been a little bit better. The macro play has been a little bit better. The team fighting and the communication in those team fights has been a little bit better. And those are in a grand finals match, maybe the only differences necessary in order to give a team a win.
Yeah, when two teams feel similar in terms of a skill and certain things, like the details are always what you try to focus on for why they are ahead of the opponent team. And details can be either good things or bad things. Be it when someone is underperforming, you clearly can see it because it's not up to the standard. And when someone is performing better than the opposition, you can clearly see it because it's been working out for them. And I think that that's a lot of what is going on for VGA, particularly in one thing that I've noticed in both games. When a situation happens badly on one side of the map, particularly in the bot side, the response on the top side is always super good for VGA. They are always able to try and close up a deficit or try and get a lead based on just exploding onto a smartest. And that's happened twice already in both games, right? On the Aatrox, he was 0-4 at one point. The Aatrox was barely a factor. And on the first game, the Camille could find some avenues, but she was also getting exploited quite effectively. And I think that that has been a really important point for BGA to always have something to play for, even if they are down.
Yeah, having something to play for even when you're down and executing a game plan to get back into the game, which is what we saw them do so well in this last game. And even a little bit in the first game too, although they had pretty solid control over the entirety of game one, they still were a little more back and forth at the start of the game, and then they were just able to pull it back through just good team play, good macro, and overall just coming into the games more, maybe not more prepared, but feeling more ready to win. I guess if that makes sense. I don't think it does. So, feel free to tell me I'm not making sense right now. So, we're looking at a potential 3-0 sweep in the finals. We'd love to see another game, even a game 5. So at this point, we know Glacial Esports Black can put the pedal to the metal and bring out some really great things in draft. What is their last shot? How can they go about taking down Virtue Gaming Ambition, who we've seen perform so well in the series up to this point?
All right. I got a hot take.
What's the hot take?
Okay.
What's the hot take?
Put Smartaz on a Gragas, put Smartaz on an Ornn, and let him live or die by himself in the top lane.
Okay.
Give your assistance to Kite Azor, who has been your catalyst for so many games here in this playoffs. We have yet to see an effective gank from Popang in the mid lane onto Kite Azor, who has carried in the past, and you need Kite Azor to be someone that can carry. Sly Lego is not a jungler though; it's just a roam.
No, I mean Sly Lego has ganked more than Popang onto Kite Azor, which is funny.
That's the thing that I'm really looking for here. Is I mean, at this point, like I've yet to see Smartaz perform. When your backs are against the wall, the assumption has to be that it's not going to happen. You have to be able to put them on something that is stable, something that isn't going to get punished too heavily if they fall behind in gold, and really make sure that Popang is able to focus in on the bottom side of the rift, because in both games, number 2 Ginger and Loki Dosi have just been able to retaliate in the mid game.
Yeah, they've been able to retaliate. They've been able to bring it back. We really do need to see Popang show up because he was such an important member of the team's success in both the semifinals and the quarterfinals. And so far, we've not been seeing him as that facilitator that we've been hoping to see and that we've expected to see based on prior performances. So I think focusing on different areas of the map and trying to just do what you do best in getting the team going and execute it to the max. You have to do something. You have to try and flip this one because you cannot play safe at this point. You know that Virtue Gaming are going to try and scale on you. You know, they're able to scale on you and able to outplay you. You need to play a bit more aggressively and a bit more, maybe not a bit more aggressively. They've been playing aggressively, but they just, man, it's so tough. It's so tough for me to even sort of figure out how to approach this.
It's a sweet
And
spot
I can't
between
imagine it's any
over
easier for the
engaging and not
teams.
engaging. Yeah, it's a tough situation. Also, I would add maybe ban Poppy. I think Poppy has been quite a good champion already, and a lot of value has been gotten just by playing the Poppy. So maybe take away the Bolivar ban and ban Poppy instead. I think could be a good solution.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
You know, ban Poppy. It's just been such a thorn in their side.
Yeah.
Moose, do you have anything else you want to add before we go ahead and throw it over to the draft?
I mean, I don't think so. I think at the end of the day, I think we've said everything that we need to say. I think it was said in Twitch chat. 67 is playing exceptionally well. Like, I do think that 67 has performed so well on this Poppy, and I do agree with TDS. I do agree with you, Becky, that if Poppy is not banned, if he gets picked up here in game 3, I think it's a mistake on GEB. So, or maybe find a counter to the Poppy and go for stuff that doesn't have to use dashes, be able to go in. Heck, Malphite could be fine. I'm fine with Malphite. I'm okay with it. Just get something solid in the top lane, and if you're able to shut down the power in the top lane that VGA has been able to unlock in both games 1 and 2, I think they have a really good chance of being able to win game 3 and potentially bring the series back.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We'll have to see if they can do it, if they can turn the series around, if they can go for that reverse sweep. I do not know if the teams are ready, actually. Okay, never mind. The players are not ready. Epic. Cool.
Guess we'll wait.
Yeah, I guess we will have to wait. I mean, I'm not really sure what else we can talk about right now. I guess while we're waiting, we can sort of, I don't know, talk about how the season's gone, how everything leading up to this point. That we've seen. There've been some highs, there's been some lows, but I think overall this has been a very competitive season, and we've seen some teams really show up and really show some interesting always seems like a bad word. It seems like a negative. There's negative connotation to it. We've seen some really smart play from a lot of these teams and really showcasing the best of the best that the amateur scene has to offer.
Which is the purpose that we set up for the league, right? Like, it's not only watching the pros that can get you closer to the highest level. Like, there's still a tier below that, and these players do play to a high enough level, and I think that they are showcasing in a lot of these matches. Like, even if there seems to be some plays that may be questionable or random at times, everyone is human, can still happen. But I feel like for the most part, we have seen so many good matches in the long run of the season, and I think that it just goes to show that this season had so many good teams that really performed to a really high level.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think, looking at our playoff bracket, looking at the playoff teams, definitely it could have been a much different playoff picture had the standings or had the bracket maybe looked a little bit different. What if you have to think, and I mean, we really do, like, you have to wonder if Glacial Black was somehow, if they weren't the 4th seed, if they were the 3rd seed or the 2nd seed, would that have changed anything? Specifically the 3rd seed, because remember, Gothboy Click was the 3rd seed, and all Gothboy Click, Rice Farmers, and Glacial Esports Black were all at that same level, at that 4 and 3. So, I mean, we could have had a much different grand finals. We could have potentially seen a Team Ambition Black versus CP Infusion semifinals last week. And we could have potentially seen Team Ambition Black go up against VG Ambition here and maybe have the opportunity to be able to take the win. Maybe the result would have still been the same, But like, this is why, I talked about it, we talked about it all split. This is why every single win matters. But I mean, we just did get confirmation that the bans are going to be coming through. Becky, any final thoughts before we take it into game 3?
I've really enjoyed the season. I've really enjoyed listening to you guys cast. I've really enjoyed seeing these teams play. So if let's see if we can get some more games tonight. If Glacial Esports Black can bring it around, or if Virtue Gaming Ambition will just claim the prize for themselves. Take it away.
All right, guys, really, really quickly here, as we get into the bans, they have been racing through them. Zeri, Ezreal, Seraphine. Ezreal makes sense. Poppy is still available. Wukong, Senna, Fiora gets banned. Volibear as the B1 pick. Poppy still available. Also, Ari, which has been banned out, is still available for VGA. Number 2 Ginger, one of his favorite picks, is going to be potentially on the table for VGA to pick up.
Now, it is the Lissandra, one of the champions that GB has opted into quite a lot. So I feel like if you do go for the Ari, you're at risk of getting picked in that situation. But the Kindred, once again, into the Bolívar, I think a fine enough matchup. Like, I don't think that there was a particular problem with that pick. With the Swain coming in here, I think much more potentially into the mid lane than in any other lane could still be a flex. But I think that now it opens up much more easily for the Ari or Corki once again. Like, it's not bad away either. So you can opt into that.
Exactly. And you know that you already know that the Swain is most likely going into the mid lane. Kaidazor has
More
played
than
it
likely.
a massive amount of times here in the VTS, not only in the playoffs, but also in the regular season. So you can feel confident that that is going to be going into the mid lane here. And the Corki did have a decent position against the Swain. It wasn't the best, but it did survive long enough to be able to give them the tier advantage that they needed in order to potentially take the game. So, going to have your jungler and mid lane locked in. VGA is now going to decide on their B3, and they've decided to go for another Yordle. It's going to be the Tristana.
So it is a champion that, like the Israel, has a jump away, which maybe can be used to keep it safe or maybe not. But the Tristana here does opt into a much different playstyle than the Israel, at least in the laning phase, where you do have to commit to try and kill someone. And I think that that will mean that Virtu Gaming has to go for a engaged support, because I feel like if not, you're really taking away from the potential of the Tristana. Also, Six was getting picked as well, so we have another Jordal and maybe into the bot lane as well.
I think it is going to go into the bot lane. I think Swain needs to go into the mid lane here. The Poppy does inevitably get banned away from VGA, so we will be seeing a new champion on 67, and Smartaz will have an opportunity to potentially play against something different here. But looking at the composition that we've got so far, Swain and Ziggs, you're looking at a lot of AP, which could potentially indicate to me that it's a Galio angle.
Ooh, could be the case. And I think Galio's support is not necessarily the worst, especially as well with the Bolivar to jump in, you can kind of follow up. The only thing is, I think for the pairing of the Tristana, not necessarily the best. I like much more if you just go immediately for Alistar, Nautilus, Rel. Like, those champions are much more straightforward and much more akin to what Tristana likes. But I think that Galio could be the play here. Now, for GEB though, do you opt for a support here, something that can pair up well with a Six? Maybe something like a Rakan could be the play here. It's not necessarily a bad bot lane pairing with the Six, and that can also mean that you can set up for your ultimate, but it's still on the top lane. Okay, opted for the Yorn finally.
Yep, exactly. I think, for Smartaz, he's had his chance. They gave him 2 opportunities to be able to carry in the top lane with the Camille and the Aatrox, and it just didn't happen. Go for a
Yep.
stable pick in the top lane. That should be able to be okay, but there are champions now VGA can go for to potentially combat that. This could be a Gwen angle here for 67 in the top lane. This could be another
Cool.
APC. It's going to be the Mordekaiser, so a little bit of an
Yep.
APC here, but a big opportunity to either take away the Call of the Forge God or take away the Lamb's Respite, depending on which champion he decides to bring into the Death Realm.
I think even taking away the swing could be quite ideal. So all in all, I feel like quite good target selection for the Mordekaiser and can define a lot of the fights that can help out. And this also means that if you do opt into helping the top lane much more, as Dylan, you can actually make the top lane lead be much more important. the Brom coming in here, so having some sort of disengaged potential and also denial for the ultimate of the Ornn, it does mean that I think maybe the bot lane is not going to be the most aggressive possible because Brom is not that heavily aggressive, but can still find avenues to try and push into the enemy bot lane carry and try and kill him as hard as possible. But now we're left with the support last pick. And looking at the Brom, would you opt for a enchanter or for a normal carry? Because I think that is an important. Oh, hey.
Okay, all right. So instead of going for an enchanter, something that can scale into the late game, you're playing early game here in the bottom lane here for Glacial Esports. You were looking to be able to get that rocket grab and potentially capitalize on being able to get that hook and being able to land it. So, really big game potentially for Sly Lego here. If you are able to land those good, really, really strong rocket grabs, it doesn't matter if it's on Corki or Lissandra, you just proc the E, you get the knockup, and they die. You need to be able to make sure that you are able to land it. It is either going to be the winning condition for Glacial Esports, or it is going to be their demise, because if the rocket grab does not land, Blitzcrank is useless.
Yeah, like it's a lot on how he can play around with the rocket grab and also who can follow up on it. If you have enough burst damage to follow up onto that rocket grab, you pretty much have just yourself set up. And I think that that's why it's going to be crucial to select the right targets. I think Brom is not an option. Volibear is not an option. I think Mordekaiser can be because he's not as tanky as a lot of other champions can be. And if you can bait out the ultimate as well, can be quite good as well. So all in all, not a bad option, I feel like. But if the Blitzcrank has to find its avenues to try and play around with, and the rocket grab. It's going to be crucial on who he can hit it. And if he can hit it.
Definitely an opportunity for a level 1 as well, but we have seen in the past level 1s not work out. And I think we have to talk about this right now because it is so important to be able to know where the Kindred is at in the early game, so that you could either potentially contest the Kindred at their second buff and the Volibear can win that fight. We've seen it happen before. Or to be able to just get away from the Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank is going to have that level 1 advantage to be able to go in for that rocket grab, but if VGA is able to get vision on the squad, they can be able to get deep vision into GEB's territory, and that could be the early game catalyst that Volibear needs to start getting the ganks and the momentum going.
Yeah, I don't want to say a kind of a coin toss game, but it is going to be a lot on what happens in certain moments. And it is going to be if you can throw the head or the tails, it can define quite a bit of situations. So it's going to be fun seeing how many 50-50s either side win and how many times can you make it go your way. Because that also depends quite a lot on the setup, the situations, and all that. And I feel like Virtua Gaming still has quite a good champions and lanes to play around those situations. So I feel like they are set up in that regard as well.
Well, I gotta ask you potentially for the last time in the VTS, what is the Soul and Rift for Game 3?
I'll take Infernal this time. I think
Infernal, I gotta triple down. Win or go home on the Hextech Soul and Rift here today.
Okay.
Chat, of course, let us know what you guys think the Soul and Rift is going to be for this pivotal Game 3. It is match point for Virtua Gaming Ambition. All they have to do is take one more win against Glacial Esports Black, but we have all predicted at least a 3-1 day. Glacial Esports is not out of this game. They are not out of this tournament, and they are definitely not going down without a fight. You will not want to miss Game 3. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Game 3 of the VTS Grand Finals. Virtue Gaming Ambition are currently one game away from being able to take this whole series, take the lion's share of the $1,500 prize pool, and be your Victoris Triumph Series champions. Meanwhile, Glacial Esports Black, they are looking to be able to bounce back and give themselves at least a win in this series. My name is Moose, and I am joined here today, of course, by the one and only TDS, and I guess my predictions of some level 1 shenanigans are not going to be correct. No rocket crab's going to come in early on.
Well, they went to the top side first, but they are coming down now. Maybe they go for a much longer invade later on, but it doesn't the case. So yeah, seems like you're going to be wrong, Moose, sadly. But anyway, I like the idea. I like the attempt. I like that they were looking for something, and I actually was much more focused on VGA's side because the setup that they were opting into was actually kind of fun. Like if the Bolivar doesn't get uncovered in that situation, he can get such a good flank at level 1 and maybe set up 4 kills. But nothing happened, so we're essentially at 0.0 of the game.
Exactly, 0.0 of the game, and now let's get started. Virtue Gaming Ambition going to be on the blue side once again here in this series. 67 going to be playing as Mordekaiser, not going to be on the Poppy for the first time in this series. Dylan, for the second time in this series, going to be playing as the Volibear. Number 2, Ginger, for the second time in this series, playing as the Corki. With Lokidosi and Phoenix Main, they are going to be your bottom lane with that Braum Tristana. This could be potentially the final composition of the VTS and potentially the winning team for VGA.
Yep. For the last time, potentially, we may see these two teams battling it out. And I think that it's been quite an interesting experience already watching how BGA has performed, particularly in the last game. I think the comeback that they were able to mount after 25 minutes was really, really good. And it really showed how strong of a team they were.
Definitely playing a lot more of that third quarter mentality here. They've been able to really bounce back when it counted in the team fights. With Glacial Esports Black, they are not out of it, and we have seen them play really well in the third quarter situations as well, being able to come back from deficits in their previous playoff games. But your roster for Glacial Esports Black here in game number 3 is going to be Smartaz. Going to be playing as the Ornn in the top lane. Popeng going to be as that Kindred in the jungle once again. Kaidazor for the second time in this game will be playing as the Swain, with Silva and Sly Lego going to be playing as that Ziggs Blitzcrank. This composition is definitely with the potential to be explosive.
Yeah, and we've yet to see the Rocket Grab come in. I'm not sure if... not even because the Blitzcrank has actually full mana, so don't think it's actually come out even once. But that just means that the first time is going to be special, right? Like, that has to be it, right?
It sure does. As we get to take a look at the play out coming in, the Flash is going to come forward, coming in onto Silva. Silva is going to be put into a really bad position. The satchel charge was disastrous, and First Blood going to go over to Dylan, and now potentially even a little bit more. Actually, Lokidosi does not go down, and now Sly Lego is going to be the next target, going to be able to get that extra movement speed to be able to potentially get away, but the same cannot be said for Popeng, who ends up using the Flash after dying, and it doesn't even matter. Sly Lego will pick up the second kill, now with 150 gold bounty.
Want to talk about disaster? Because that is what GEB just experienced. Like, could have been just, oh wait, no more. Okay,
oh my god, oh, that could have been scary. Could have been scary.
Yeah, this is a start that certainly GEB didn't want to go for. But on the contrary, VGA, I love the aggressiveness in that situation. Early gank by the Bolivar, something that you can pull off.
Smartaz in trouble. The Ray could land from 67. The Obliterate's going to come through. Oh my god. Smartaz is going to be forced to flash away, and now Popeng is going to be in trouble, trying to be able to get away from the Volibear, as Dylan does not have flash, but is still trying to be able to at least make it a 1-for-1. He does, and he is still alive. Going to be able to use a Sky Splitter. He does not go down. Kaidazor does not have mana. It's a double kill for the Volibear. Meanwhile, 67 is going to be able to get the flash onto Smartaz, and Virtue Gaming Ambition cannot be stopped. It's 6-0.
This is way too crazy. How is VGA already so far ahead? Dylan should have died. He should have been dead. But it didn't matter. He turned it around. 4-0 as the Bolivar already. This Kindred is in such a bad spot. and it's just working out. Everything that VGA wants to do has worked out so far. It's almost a 4,000 gold lead, 3,000 gold lead in favor of the side of VGA.
All right, so TDS, I gotta ask you, in Colombia, do you guys celebrate Halloween?
Yeah, actually.
You do, because this is a nightmare. This is absolutely the scariest position that GEB has been in the entire playoffs. We've seen them go behind by 4 kills, but now being behind by 6 and not being able to shut down the Volibear, it's just gonna be really, really rough. First play of the game potentially in the mid lane is Popeng is going to come in for that gank against number 2 Ginger. Kaidazor is going to try to be able to come forward, but does not have flash, but is going to be able to find the root. Number 2 Ginger will die, and Kaidazor will be able to pick up a kill.
The first one on the list, that is what you like to see if you're on GB's side. This is something that number 2 Ginger has done quite a bit, and it's over committing for certain plays, especially without vision. Getting punished like that, it's a really nice play, and it's Kaira Shuru once again trying to pull something back into their side, really showing up, at least.
I mean, has shown up continuously throughout these playoffs. I continue to praise Kaidazor and the performance that they have had throughout this tournament. It just continues to be very mind-boggling here for me to just see how well he's been able to consistently play. And now he's playing on theoretically one of his best champions in the VTS in terms of stats, the Swain, and going to be able to pick up that first kill. Not only being able to pick up the first kill, but also 2 stacks on that Dark Seal.
Yeah, getting that value is going to be important. And certainly for this kind of game where you're about to lose if you don't win, having your best performing champion in playoffs can be quite reassuring, and already getting that kill can be quick. But we have to see at the rest of the sides as well, because yes, you may have gotten that kill onto number 2 Ginger, but the value is still onto other members. It's Dylan and 67 that have that extra bit of gold to try and carry them on, the ones that are really far ahead, and now getting this dragon as well. This is a good play I like, because it's before the Herald spawns, which means that allows time for them to try and rotate if they want the Herald as well.
I got about 30 seconds before it happens. The Sly Lego is going to be able to go in for the rocket grab on to the Braum. With Dylan there, Stormbringer is ready, and Smartass is going to go in for the call of the Forge God. This is going to be potentially a play here in the top lane. Popeng is not yet level 6, and this is going to be potentially 67 looking to be able to go in for a 2v1. The Obliterate does not land, and Smartass going to be able to get out of the death realm, but does he survive? The Lamb's Respite is massive, and 67 is not going to be able to pick up a kill. Popeng be able to pick up 1.
Yeah, huge timing on how the play happens. And I have to say, I really didn't thought that a 67 was going to get out without a kill, but I feel like he utilized the ultimate a little bit later than he actually needed to. I feel like he could have just rushed into that, or at least hold it much more longer. Doesn't opt into that, and
oh no, Silva gonna just not even have a chance. Number 2 Ginger will pick up their first kill of the game and force Sly Lego off the map. Gonna go in for a full reset here on the Blitzcrank to be able to walk back with the Ziggs, but this is going to give free time for a sieging champion like the Tristana to go and get some turret plates.
Get more than one turret plate in this situation. Okay, let's see.
1.
Okay, just 1 so far. Yeah, she just gets 1, so not the worst that could have been for both Silva and Sly Lego. But once again, VGA is something that they have been doing so consistently in the series. If they get 1, on one side of the map, we respond with something on the other side and try and make it better. And that is what they do achieve in this play, getting the plate as well as the kill. And yes, Mordekaiser may have died, but he's still in prime position to keep pressure up onto the Ornn, although Kindred is coming now.
Not going to be able to make anything happen there, but it is going to be a posture for a pretty aggressive play for this Rift Herald. You do have Sly Lego that is going to be up on the top side of the Rift here. Going to be maybe rubbing down to the mid lane to go for a play against number 2 Ginger. Regardless of all of that, 67 is going to see it and is going to be able to get the Rake and the Obliterate damage onto Popeng, now down to less than half HP. Sly Lego was there, but he provided nothing to the defense of being able to take that massive neutral objective. And now it actually does not even get deleashed. 67 holds on to it and just gives a free Rift Herald over to Dylan. Nicely done.
Nice. I really like to see coming in from 67. There's no pressure realistically from Smartass to try and go for the play, particularly because they don't know where the rest of the members were. I think they saw the Braum clearing up the ward inside of the enemy jungle, and that just immediately means we cannot force anything to happen. Because if we try to play a fight, we more than likely lose it, especially without the Lamb's respite. So I like that that VGA took advantage of that situation where they were farther ahead and they took the Herald just for themselves.
Yeah, unfortunate here for the side of Glacial Esports in a pretty rough position to be in. Not insurmountable, but a 3,000 gold lead is definitely not going to feel good here at the 10.5-minute mark. So, you know, really looking to see where their rebound will be at. They have looked to go for plays. Smartass is going to miss the headbutt, and that really tells me that there may be some weakness on the champ.
That was kind of sad to see, not gonna lie, but it's not the worst.
Oh no, Dylan is gonna be the one that gets hit by the rocket grab, and Sly Lego is gonna get targeted, gonna be forced to flash away into the Lamb's Respite, but Popang is there. Sly Lego's going to not even get the healing from the Lamb's Respite, and Popang will die as the teleport now comes through. The Stormbreaker is gonna be able to shut down the turret, as Silva's gonna be the next target. It's a double kill for the Volibear, who's now 6-0-3, as we also get a Golden Phoenix main. Smartass teleports down, doesn't have any response for Glacial Esports, and now the Rift Herald is gonna drop. It just goes from bad to worse.
It's not only the 3 kills, it's not only the teleport, the summoners getting used, it's not only everything kind of looking bad, it's the plates as well going in favor of them. Oh no, not another kill. Oh,
yeah,
wait,
Smartass
maybe?
is going to try to be able to potentially go in for a misplay or a counterplay here, but Lokidosu will be the one that picks up that kill. Smartass will be able to retaliate with a kill of their own, but the tower is indeed not long for this world. Lokidosi might be sacrificing their life for the cause as Dylan is looking to be able to escape. Rocket grab. It has not been used yet as we go in for the rocket jump. A nice rake, and that will be enough to pick up Kaidazor. Another kill, but the shutdown will go over to Popang.
It's a shutdown, so maybe you do value that. Corky has the package here, so I can see him maybe trying to... Oh, he failed everything. So
Okay, yeah. Not going to be able to get the play that he wanted, but he still has the big ones to be able to go in for those rockets. Doesn't quite get what he's looking for, and does still have the package for a little while longer. So we could still potentially try to go for a play here at the Dragon.
I know something, though. It's not Hextech Grip, so...
I'm sad, but it is going to be a Cloud Rift. Sly Lego's going to flash forward, and that is going to be their demise as the Clouds quicken here.
It's fine.
Not
Neither of
going to
us
be an
were right.
Infernal. So we're both 0 for 3 today. It's disastrous. And speaking of disaster, another kill for the side of VGA. Currently 12 kills up against 4 for the side of the Glacial Esports, who are really ice cold right now. Kaidazor is going to die. Number 2, Ginger will fall, though. So it is a 1-for-1.
He used W trying to engage, which meant that he cannot play that up. Oh, Dylan.
Yeah, Popang is going to be potentially in trouble as we get Phoenix Main coming through. Stormbreaker is going to be dropped, and Phoenix Main will pick up the kill. This is an extremely powerful Volibear. 7-0-6.
He's been a part of almost all the kills except for 1. Quick maps. Yeah, for 1. So... really showing the power of this Bolivar, really showcasing why he prioritized the champions so heavily, first pick in the draft, and it's just being so beneficial for the side of VGA. Also, we kind of ignored him because he wasn't part of the fights, but because of what happened on the bot side, 67 got 4 plates alone in the top lane. So now he has full item, and it's a Mordekaiser that is more than happy.
A Mordekaiser is more than happy? I feel like that was a bad wordplay there.
He's happy though, I think.
All right, yeah, he's happy. He's happy.
Good.
He's happy. I get it. I understand. I'm just playing around. Anyway, though, no, really important here for being able to get that Rift Maker. Does give you that just extra stacking power to go in with that Conqueror, to be able to go in with the extra damage that it provides. And unfortunately for Smartass, gonna be behind by about a level and a half at this point, which doesn't feel good.
At least as the Ornn, you can find the value of the champion just because of his ultimate. So all in all, it's not that good, but as long as he can just keep himself alive and finding the experience, it's all fine. But yeah, this 67 lane has been so damning onto Smartass, and he can even just force the kill in a good spot. Now,
Yeah, I
for
think
example.
that is going to be the play here. 67 is going to be
Yeah.
putting the Death Realm in for Smartass. Doesn't really have the chance to survive. And now 67 is looking to be able to go in for a 3v1 play. Going to be able to get the stats of the Ornn. It won't be enough, as Popang will be able to take down the Mordekaiser. Now 3, 4, and 1 for this Kindred.
Yeah, that was actually kind of sad watching that play from Smartass because he did everything to keep himself alive, but by doing that, he was standing onto the passive of the Mordekaiser, so he was taking damage anyway. He actually just killed himself slowly.
All right, Stormbreaker is going to get used here from Dylan as we also get the Satchel Charge coming through. The turret did not go down, however, so not going to be the play that I think VGA was looking for, but just continuing to try to keep that pressure up.
Yeah, and one thing that I do gotta say from Soba is that he has been quite quick on those such charges, right? Like, his reaction onto it has been quite good, and it's helped him not die as much as he could have, even though he's 0-3. Like, could have been much worse.
Definitely for sure. I mean, overall, like, the whole team is not playing terrible. The bottom lane is 0-7 comparatively to the 4-2 that we see coming through from Lokidosi and Phoenix Maiden, but I mean, the team as a whole is not playing bad. We don't have a 0-5 Aatrox. We don't have a 0-3, don't have a 0-3 mid laner. Like, you know, we're looking pretty good here in terms of everyone being able to at least contribute something to the squad. But your major problem is just how far in the lead Dylan has become. Just so massive.
It's just such a big issue, especially when you're playing junglers like the Bolivar that they want to get ahead early on and they are so far ahead. That can just become quite problematic, at least until you can answer him back. Because when the Kindred gets a couple more items, when she can get them a couple more marks, she can answer back to the Bolivar, and the Bolivar value goes down much quickly than what the Kindred becomes. But it's going to take a little bit more time than for that to happen.
Yeah, and you know, that is the big thing here is, you know, can Popang, can Kaitazor, can they potentially still carry this game? We've seen comebacks before in this grand finals. VGA was definitely not in a good position in game 2, and they were able to bring it back. And the same thing can be done here in game 3, and in potentially Glacial Esports flavors. So, you know, definitely going to be important to see if they do have that resilience and they can be that third quarter team that can go in for those plays. But it doesn't look like now is the time to do it. Popang's going to be in the top lane. The Dragon is going to get initiated from VGA, and the game will just continue to move forward.
Yeah, the game will go on. They will try and achieve something on the side of GEB. I think that they don't need to fight for the next dragon since it's a cloud and they already have one. So I like the decision to try and go for this turret and kill the Corki as well. Like, this can be quite a big kill though. Kind of sure.
Well, they got to initiate on it. Visions of Empire is going to get used. It's going to miss. Witness Popang coming in. Finally deciding to go in here. And that will be enough to be able to pick up that kill. Nicely done coming in from Popang and Kaitazor to be able to pick up a clean kill. And now they have the chance to potentially defend here in the bottom lane. Dylan's going to be able to go in with the Stormer. Going to be able to shut off the lights onto Smartass. And now Dylan, legendary 8-0-6.
That kill could have been much better used to give it to the Bully.
Oh no, Sly Lego is going to go in for the rocket grab. 67 is going to be there, but it won't be enough to be able to pick it up. But going to be able to force the Blitzcrank out of any extended play. The next major objective is that Baron that's spawning in a minute.
Yeah, I think that VGA cannot rush it even with their lead because Corki is not yet at 2 items, and Tristan I think needs 1 more to be able to pull off that kind of play. But they are still in a spot that maybe with Mordekaiser, maybe with the 5 members, can be a critical objective to try and force and win a fight on. Also wanted to say, I think that Bolivar kind of not good that he's taking that kill now. I think that if he won, it would have been better to give it to either Mordekaiser or Tristan at this point, because now you getting that extra gold is not that big in comparison.
100%. You do not need the blue buff. You do not need the extra gold from turrets. All you need to do is be a meat shield, and because you have so many kills, you are actually going to be able to do just that. Force of Nature and Turbo Kente come in unlocked, along with maybe looking to be able to go for a Guardian Angel here, or potentially just trying to go for a Zonia's, depending on how they want to play it out. So, you know, Dylan does have options to be able to potentially find plays here with this Volibear, but I do agree, kills are not the answer.
Yeah, at least not you getting them. If someone else gets them, perfectly. Now, looking at how the map is setting up, how GB is trying to put themselves into a good spot, I like that they are trying to get control over the bot side, mirroring a little bit onto the Ornn, because if they can get a kill onto the Mordekaiser, that would mean that they have much better opportunities to either TP towards the Baron and not necessarily lose anything, or be able to keep on finding some gold. Like, one of the things that GB can look forward to is the fact that every turret is alive still for them to take down, which means that there's a lot of standing gold for them.
A lot of standing gold, not quite gold bounties yet, as the Baron is going to get initiated. Sly Lego does have the rocket grab and is going to be able to land it onto Dylan, which is going to be the initiation of the fight. Dylan takes very little damage from Kaidazor and Sly Lego right now, but the Baron will get deleashed, and Dylan's not going to go in with that. Stormbringer looking to be able to get damage to come through. Going to be able to get a nice Glacial Fissure coming in from Phoenix main, and that's Lokidosi going to be able to pick up 1 and a 1-for-1. Smart is going to be the next target, going to go into the knockups, going to try to be able to do what he can, but it's a double kill for the Tristana. They want the multi-kill. He's going to flash forward. He's going to be able to get the rocket grab. Silva is going to go. It's a triple for the Tristana.
What killed 6? I'm actually not even sure. Red buff? Oh, red buff. Okay, it was the red buff. And yeah, the Tristana Lokidosi just free firing onto the Baron buff. They kill everyone. It's now on Sly Lego. Can he pull off the miracle play? I'm pretty sure he can't, but like you have to believe. You have to believe in him.
I believe in him. Sly Lego, make it happen. Going for the rocket grab. He doesn't even go for it. Boo.
Yeah.
Boo.
Can't blame him that much. Like, it's a pure Blitzcrank. It's a robot that can barely stand by himself.
Boo. No. Absolutely right, though. Another really good team fight coming in from VGA. Dylan was never in doubt of dying. Had the hourglass, had the extra armor and magic resist, and when you're up against 2 AP threats, you're really not worried about, dying at that point. So another really strong performance going to come in for the side of VGA, and especially for this jungler, as the next big objective is going to end up still being that dragon that's spawning in about 50 seconds.
Feels like that is going to be the maybe last fight if GB does opt into it, and if not, they still have 1 or 2 more fights to maybe pull off, depending on how close the VGA is to the base, right? If they are super close to GB's base, I'm pretty sure that would be the last fight of the game. But if not, that could still be another chance for GEB to try and turn around and play for the win. Oh, wait.
Yeah, number 2 Ginger is going to get targeted here, as Popang is going to just take that kill against Ginger, as Lokidosi will die as well. The turret as well as the Mega Inferno Bomb will be enough to be able to pick up 1. Sly Lego is going to go in with the Shirelias, not going to be able to pick up another kill, but very importantly, being able to stop some of the pushing power that VGA had.
Yeah, it's the 2 carries that end up dying, so a lot of the damage that they did have end up getting lost. They now can collect these bounty turrets, which are super huge for GB because they were already quite behind. And the dragon was anyway going to be the 3rd dragon, the soul point for VGA, so it's not the most important of dragons to fight, and I like that their decision was to play to punish number 2 Ginger. Something that we have seen, I think, a lot of times in this matchup, in this set of games, it has been quite good how they have done it, and it's netted them quite good leads.
Oh, agreed, but the package is going to get dropped, come in from number 2 Ginger. They want to continue to keep it going, as Smart as going to try to flash forward, but there's Dylan. I don't think you're emoting now here, as Smart as is going to get targeted. Popang, though, is going to be able to come in. The Glacial Fissure is going to drop, going to be able to get the knockup on to the Ornn, but it's not going to be enough, and Dylan's going to die. 1,000 gold going to go into Popang as he does drop the Lamb's Respite, going to be able to get back into it, be able to go for the healing, but now 67 is on the way. This is going to be a 3v5 situation. 67 does not have Flash, and VGA allowing GEB to get some gold back.
Yeah, BGA is getting way too baited for their own good. They are trying to commit the plays that they are opted into, but not getting the best results. Volibear had Sunjas. He didn't even use it. He bought it for a reason and didn't even use it. So you really need to know your limits in these kind of situations. Play aggressive, it's fine, but you cannot throw away the lead that you have. It was, I think, 10,000, more than 10,000 gold. Now it's only 9,000. So it's been quite a important amount of gold that GB has been able to get back for themselves.
And now with VGA trying to still be able to win this game, they are in a pretty commanding lead. It isn't an insurmountable advantage, but it is definitely still going to be there. 8,000 gold in the lead for VGA, maybe even a little bit more. If GEB gives over another couple of kills, that just might be the difference maker that does secure them that win. But they are still in this game. 25 minutes in. It is not an Infernal Soul. It's not an Ocean Soul. It's not a Hextech Soul. It's a Cloud Soul. That spawns in 3 minutes. And if GEB wants to, they could decide to forfeit it and just give it over to VGA, potentially go for a Baron play.
Yeah, which I think would be a smart decision. Like now with a Kindred with 2 items with 6 as well, you can try and opt into rushing the Baron. I don't think they can destroy it before 30 seconds. 30 seconds, no, 30 seconds long. 15 seconds. I don't think they can take it down before 15 seconds. But I think that they can try and rush it down. And with correct positioning and good vision control, I feel like they don't even need to force a fight for it to happen.
Probably not. It is a 45-second difference though between Baron and Dragon. So, I mean, the priority for both teams is still to be on the top side of the rift to make sure that neither one of them can go for it. But with that being said, though, the opportunity for VGA to still close out this game is definitely a clear and present danger. We've also got 67 that's going to just continuously be a thorn in GEB's side. Currently 3-2 and 3, 203 CS. Rylai's and Riftmaker are going to get unlocked. And I wonder if they're going to be able to go in for a little bit more. We do have that Negatron Cloak as well as a stopwatch as well. So, you know, maybe looking to go in for a defensive item here in this for the third one, or maybe just looking to be able to go in for like a Guardian Angel or a Zhonya's.
I'm kind of curious what he does opt into. I feel like there's quite a bit of options that can go in. Like even Nature's I think it's Nature's Force. Yeah, Nature's Force can be quite good. So I feel like there's what?
Force of Nature?
Yeah, Force of Nature, Nature's Force.
Yeah.
That, but like you said, Force of Nature can be quite good in this situation, especially because if you're fighting against a Kindred realistically, you really shouldn't be winning almost anyway. Like the ones that you're fighting or the ones that you want to care about are 6 and Swing, and that Force of Nature can find so much value. But Baron just spawned. Will they play aggressively for it or not, or will they wait for Dragon to spawn?
It is a risky situation, and you have to wonder, you know, does GEB realize what kind of situation they are in? Do they realize that they're 9,000 gold behind? Do they realize that number 2 Ginger is almost a full item ahead of Kaidazor? Do they understand that 67 is 1.5 items up on Smartaz right now? Do they understand that Lokidosi is currently at 3 items, looking to be able to go in for 4, and that is when Tristana is very scary. But it looks like the play is going to be the one that we saw in Game 2, where they decide to go for the Dragon and then push forward to try to go in for the double buff Baron play. They know that GEB is in a rough position, and that is exactly what they're going to try to go for. Number 2 Ginger is going to be forced out of the flash, however. Going to be taken away from Sly Lego.
Oh, Ginger, why are you still here?
Ginger is going to get shut down. It is huge for the side of GEB, and they're going to start Baron.
Yeah, they are losing Baron, by the way, because Bolivar is ball type. Why was number 2 Ginger still there? Your team is not close by.
Okay, 67 is going to try to deal what damage he can with that Rylai's Crystal Scepter, with that Riftmaker. Going to be able to go golden, as Lokidosi is going to be able to pick up one. Lokidosi is going to try to pick up another one. Going to use the Buster Shot onto Popeng, but the healing is going to be enough, as 67 is now going to be on the way. Dylan is coming through, going to be able to get the shutdown. Going to get hit by the Rocket Grab. Going to try to go in for the Stormbringer. Going to try to go golden. Going to try to do what they can. Can go in, and will be able to use it to get away, but it's Popeng being able to pick up one, and the Baron does not get taken, but that is 3 kills for GEB.
But they cannot go for Baron. They cannot go for Baron here. Corki has teleport. He will be alive. Yeah, he can just come in and go for the play. I think he has package as well.
Yeah, he does have package, and he's going to go in for the teleport.
They cannot go this.
They cannot initiate on it, and they're... Oh, Smartaz.
He's running away.
You gotta hit those headbutts. But no, very important that they decided not to go for it, but also, it also means that you do sacrifice, you pay a couple of kills for Cloud Soul.
Yeah, so now thinking about it objectively, right? who is the true winner? Because VGA got the Cloud Soul, they got kills back, and Tristana didn't die. But GV also got a couple of good kills, shutdowns, and burned the teleport out from Dumber to Ginger and 67 as well. So I feel like it's a pretty equal trade in all honesty. Like the soul obviously feels much better, but it's a Cloud Soul. It's not a game-winning soul. So it's not the worst of situations for GV.
Have to see how number 2 Ginger wants to use that package, if he even gets to use the package offensively at all.
I think not.
Remember, he's going to be able to get first strike as well. He does have the opportunity to deal damage with it, but unfortunately it does expire, and he will have to use it just to clear out some minion waves. I will say
he now only has his rockets.
Yeah. I will say that at least being able to go in with the Cloud Soul does give you that really strong ability phase. And they're going to rush over to Baron. Oh my god.
Why is no one here?
God. And this is going to be a misplay potentially from Glacial Esports. They don't have a chance to stop it, and Baron does not get taken. 67 is going to go in for the 1v1 against Kopang. Going to try to be able to get away from the Death Realm and will be able to survive using the Shirelias coming in from Phoenix Main.
Oh, he's
barely alive using the shielding from his W to be able to get away and will be able to back off. Phoenix Main is going to use the movement speed from going in with that Cloud Soul to be able to run away themselves, and so no one goes down.
Yeah, nobody dies. Free Baron for VGA. And I'm surprised, after all the prep that they had previously achieved, why would you not think that that could happen? Now, even the Kaiser using ulti, this is really bad for GV.
Yeah, Kaiser without Demonic Ascension gets nothing with it. Going to be forcing number 2 Ginger into a pretty awkward position, but it's actually just going to be a flank for them as 67 does go into the Death Realm against Kopang. They do just decide to back away from each other. They will know where the vision is at, and now looking to be able to potentially initiate onto a kill. That's going to be a lot of damage potentially onto Kopang. Kopang does have it, but he just gets popped, obliterated like a balloon, and that's going to be one kill for the side of VGA. Looking to be able to go for more as Side Lego will die. Loki knows he's going to be able to pick up another kill. This could be the end, and it will be the end. VGA, they are the winners of this tournament. They are going to be able to take down GEB in a 3-0 fashion. They were the top seed of Group A. They were undefeated, and they are the best team in Masters Plus and your champions of the Victoris Triumph Series.
Totally deserved. Played great this game. They made it seem that GB had chance with some of the plays that were happening here and there, but at the end, it's just the consistent domination that VGA showed that will give them the victory, and fully deserved. They really were the better team today. They really played like a champion team.
They definitely did, and they have played like a champion team all season long. Throughout the entirety of the VTS, they have dropped only one game. Not the flawless season, but definitely a strong performance for them. Let me verify that, actually. I think that they have, oh no, they didn't. They didn't. Yeah, they lost one against Gang 7. They did also lose a game in week 2. So they end up almost going flawless, but for the most part,
just this close.
Very, very close game. Really, really nicely done from them.
Yeah, it feels like Virtua Gaming really did everything that they needed to do to really achieve victory, and it was really shown in the three games. Second one particularly, they were in such a tough spot, but they knew how they needed to fight. I loved how they opted into fights in that game, and it turned around. And then in this one, like, they should have won the game, I think 10 minutes ago, because of how huge of a lead they had in the early game. But at the end, the end result is the same. They get the victory, they get the championship, and that's what matters, really.
100%, 100%. Now, really, really quickly, folks, we're going to see if we can go in for a final analyst desk. Ooh. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll return to talk about this series. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, everybody, from the final game of the series between Virtue Gaming Ambition and Glacial Esports Black. We have with us on the desk not just Moose, not just TDS, but we have a representative of the side of Virtue Gaming coming here to talk about the series, the season, and answer a few questions. We have the jungler, well, the jungler of Virtue Gaming Ambition. Is it Nihao Dai Lan? Is that how you're pronouncing it?
My name's Dylan, but
Yeah.
that works, yeah. But ni hao Dylan most of the time.
That
Okay,
line.
we can just call you Dylan. You know, I assume it's like the kids show, so I that's how I was
is.
pronouncing it. But
It's from
welcome Dylan to the desk. How are you feeling? And how is the sort of atmosphere of the team feeling after that 3-0 clean sweep you just delivered here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's super happy we won. We were like very confident going into it. Like we have like a scrim record since the season started of like 20-2 or something ridiculous. Like we literally just haven't been dropping matches at all. So, but everyone's happy, super hyped. But we were pretty confident we were gonna 3-0.
Hey, pretty confident. All right. So when you're watching the other side of the bracket and you're seeing Glacial Esports sort of clean house on the other side, you're not concerned at all about that?
Yeah, like my teammates like Ginger and everyone was saying like, okay, like the other group has the better teams, like they're a lot better on that side. Like we gotta watch out for like these certain teams, like Team Vision Black, or I don't even honestly. I'm so new to the scene that I just don't even really know. But
It's all good.
but like they said they were really good, but then they were getting stomped, and like we were just never losing. So I was like, these guys can't be that good, and I think we kind of like proved that.
Okay, these guys cannot be that good, you know? They beat the teams that were supposed to be good. How good can they possibly be? That's a reasonable assumption and a reasonable attitude to have. And you know, confidence is always good, especially going into these high impact series. So, before I ask any more questions, Moose or TDS, do you have anything that you would like to ask Dylan while we have him here?
Yeah, I have. I want to jump in because I was talking with Ginger a little bit, and he told me about how the team was kind of new, obviously, because they changed a couple of players here and there. He lane swapped and all that. I'm kind of curious, how new are you to the scene? Because is this your actual first tournament that you win, or that you play in, or have you played in a couple others? Because I think that actually makes it even more impressive.
So, okay, I've been playing League since season 1, so I've been
Yeah.
playing forever, and I've been playing competitively forever, but, like, I've never really played in too many of the, like, amateur leagues. I played in one league last year. I played in, like, UAL, and then we made playoffs and lost in playoffs.
Oh,
but
that random league. Nobody knows
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
yeah, I don't even know. But honestly, that was the only league I played, and then this, like, I just was like looking for a team, and was climbing, and I met Ginger and Loki, and it's yeah, I just joined, and it's been fun. Like, but yeah, so I guess it's my second league I've played in.
Okay. Still
Yeah,
impressive
yeah.
anyway.
I would have to say it's pretty impressive having such a good result with such a fresh team.
Yeah.
So, trying to get into the minds of not just you, but your coach. We saw the Poppy come out multiple times, and Poppy's a bit more of it's a solid pick, but it's not something we typically see. So, what made the Poppy, what in your mind made the Poppy work so well, especially into what Glacial Esports was doing and how they just really didn't have an answer to it?
I think that 60 just really likes Poppy, and like the matchups that they were playing, like their top laner, like he doesn't really have any answers to it, I feel like, and it's just really good against what the team comps they were trying to play. Like we just like to play range and just draft. I feel like our drafts were just like so much better than theirs because they're trying to draft engage, and they're trying to like they're just getting owned every time they try to come into us. So if we ever have first setup, like they just can't play basically. And I think Poppy does a good job of like stopping them from coming in.
Yeah, I mean that's the steadfast presence. It's quite imposing. Stops
Yeah.
everybody from engaging.
I'm
Very
really glad your
dangerous.
team actually did it. Because I hated the fact that Poppy didn't. It's not like she disappeared from the meta. It's that she's exclusively a jungler now for God knows what reason. When everyone and their mother has a dash, so you can still play her in top lane. You can still play her in jungle. You can play her in mid lane if you want. Seeing it mid was a thing. You can play her support as well. But Poppy, I feel like should be a much more prevalent thing in the meta, and I feel like teams are underappreciating the champion.
Yeah, like for us, it's definitely a flex pick. I don't play Poppy a lot, but I have in the past. Like if there was ever a time where like he would get a super shitty matchup, like we would swap it. But I think we just like to prioritize jungle matchups so much more too. So
Yeah.
but it was definitely a flex, and Poppy's just really good right now in general.
Yeah, that's true. Moose, do you have anything?
Yeah, sure. I was going to talk about the draft a little bit, but I think you guys kind of covered a little bit of the importance of that. No, going back to you. You said you've been playing, competitively since season 1. You've been being able to climb up the ranks, and do you believe that that gives you a competitive advantage? Do you feel like that experience was maybe one of the reasons why you guys were able to perform so well? I mean, what do you think was the secret sauce to your guys' performance this split, whether for yourself personally or for your team?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's honestly, we just were winning every game, and I would just say to my teammates, I would just be like, guys, well, how are we so good? Like, why are we so good? But I think, I mean, like
Completely understand.
for me personally, I think it was like a really big goal of mine to like win. Just like I know we're not like playing like challenger level, but like I just kind of want to prove myself, and my teammates are obviously great, and like it was just fun to come in and like just like try to lead a team. Like I said, I've been playing since season 1, but I've never really played like super like I haven't played like so much since like season 5. So like I don't know, it's just really fun. It's so much better than playing solo queue. It's so much better to play competitive, and I just something to prove myself. And like I've been watching League since season 1 too, so I watch every competitive tournament, like all of Worlds, all LCK, all LCS. So like I'm
Makes
always up
sense.
to date. But yeah, I don't know. It just worked out. Like I think that's where it was just good. All my teammates were good. We just worked together really well. Like it's awesome.
Sometimes you're just good. Sometimes
Sometimes.
you are just good. Your
Yeah.
teammates are good. Everything comes together, and you absolutely show up. I gotta say, mad respect to another old head actually bringing it home tonight.
Yeah.
I've been playing since open beta, and I can barely scrape a win in the junior draft league, like literal, kindergarten dodgeball. And you're out here winning the finals, so it makes me proud as a fellow old head to see
Yeah,
another
dude.
league boomer succeed.
I'm turning 25 like next week, man. Like I started playing when I was 13. All these kids
Yo.
are crushing me. Like I can't keep up with the 17-year-olds, man. I'm trying.
I don't know what they feed these kids these days.
I know.
Like,
My
man,
wrists
I
are
feel like
broken.
I feel like they were worse back in the day. I don't know, man.
Literally.
No, don't worry, they were, but
They were
They
a lot.
were.
People were a lot worse
yeah,
back
they
then.
were. It's been
Oh.
better. That's why.
Oh man. All right. Well, we do have the MVP decided. I do not believe we'll have a graphic tonight due to
Complications.
Who
we
won
do
it?
have a graphic. We do have a
Ooh.
graphic. Amazing.
Production
Loki
value.
Dosey picking that up
Let's go.
across
So
the
I
series.
have a question here. Why isn't it the Tristana game? The Ezreal game where he went 14 and something.
14-2.
Yeah,
I
14-2.
I believe the yeah I believe it's the
Blame
last game
production.
is
Okay, I
usually what we
blame
go with.
production.
So yeah, but no, overall Loki Dosey performed incredibly well
Yeah.
as the carry. You can argue other people were impactful, you know, like you, Dylan. You were doing quite well. You were very impactful, but you know, so for the people in chat, right clicking and getting kills is a very powerful skill. Positioning as well is very powerful, and that Tristana game was whew,
It was
whew.
nice. Can't bot, easy win.
Yeah, I think that's the name of the game. And I think this just goes to show that a lot of people play AD carry. And that's why they want an AD carry to be the MVP. I feel like this is exactly what it showcases. But Loki Dosey did perform well in the 3 games. I really cannot call out anything that he inherently did wrong or anything like that, because I feel like in the 3 games, if he doesn't carry the second game, we may have a longer series in our hands. And I think that that is a really important thing, especially with how behind he was. Like, I feel the rest played really well in the comeback, but he was super far behind to his lane counterpart in the second game. And he put the carry pants on his side and was able to turn it around. So I feel like he really deserves the MVP of the series today.
Yeah, I trolled the second game. That's why I got so far behind with the dragon.
We don't
Hey,
talk about
you
the
know,
turret dive either.
you know, we
Yep.
we in the
Yeah.
business we call that bounty boosting. All right, you know, you're
Yeah.
just setting up,
I don't know if the
for
bounty
more gold for your teammate to
I don't
pick
know
up. You
about
know,
the bounty at minute 5, but hey, maybe it's just me.
it's a skill. You know, it's bounty boosting is very important. You know,
Yeah.
it's what it is. But yeah, you know, I will say I did vote for Loki, but not because of like practical reasons, but
Aren't you a support?
we went to the same university, so you know I
Oh.
had to support. I actually casted one of their games when they were at university, so you know had to support a homie. Chirp chirp, we fly.
So you're saying biased caster, biased
Yes, I
analyst.
am
Okay.
biased. I will admit it.
Okay.
I've never said I wasn't biased. All right. So before we're gonna let you go, because I'm sure you want to celebrate with the team. So
Yeah.
Dylan, any final things you want to say to the
And
people?
shout out anyone as well.
Any shout outs
Yeah.
you want to give?
Shout outs to all my teammates, especially our coach Dom. He lives in Europe or Ireland or something, so it's like I don't even know what
What's
time
up,
it is there.
Greece?
I honestly I don't know, but it's like 3 a.m. for him, and he shows up to all of our scrims and our matches, and he coaches us at like 2-3 a.m. So shout out to him, shout out to all my teammates, shout out to my Twitch stream and all my viewers and my friends that watch my stream. And shout outs to you guys for hosting the leagues. Like I'm gonna definitely be playing in more. I'm probably gonna be trying to play in the higher elo ones too, and I just want to play in as much stuff as I can. So seriously, thanks for hosting.
Yeah.
Hope
No.
to see you in
Thank you.
PVCQ if possible.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Who
know,
knows?
thank you for showing up, and of course, big congratulations to not just you but your team and the organization as a whole for bringing home the W. So thank you for being on the desk with us, Dylan, and have a great evening. Enjoy your
Yeah.
win.
Thanks, guys. Peace.
All right. With that out of the way, I would like to close out the evening as swiftly as I can, or as swiftly as I will try to. Make sure you have your timer up, everyone. Count how long it takes me to conclude this. Like Cow does. If Cow's still in chat, I hope you have your timer ready. So, before we close, Moose, you have anything you would like to say to the beautiful people in the chat?
Thank you guys all so much for watching the entire split. It has been a phenomenal experience that I won't forget. So, and you guys are part of that experience as well. So, thank you guys all so much again for watching, and hope to see you guys again next time. Definitely follow the Twitter if you like to see more. But regardless of all of that, just continue to stay safe, continue to be healthy, and continue to have a good time playing League of Legends.
Yeah, have a good time playing League. That's impossible, but I guess we can try. TDS, anything you would like to say?
I'll be much more general. Have fun playing games. Enjoy your time because the games are good. You can have fun with your friends, and if not, you can always write me and I'll play with you because I don't have anything better to do. So that's okay. But also, I wanna thanks for having me. I wanna thank for having me on the split. It's I think my first split on Victoris of like for the whole split. It was really enjoyable, really fun watching great teams, great players perform. I think the cast, the analyst desk, the production was great almost every week. I miss Cal. I'm thankful that Bench was able to cover for us, and full credit to him for tonight. But this one as well for Cal because Cal did such an amazing job the whole split, and it would have been great to have him in the finals. But he will come. Pretty sure it's going to be fine. And as well, calling out my Twitter. You can follow me there, almost close to 100 followers. It's
Let's
not
go.
super big, but it's a milestone that I would be happy to be able to reach. So if anyone can follow me there, it would be. And
Let's
thank
go,
you for everyone for watching. This cannot be done without your support.
Yeah, I mean, 100 is still plenty more followers than I have, so that's still a milestone. It means you're building a brand, building a community, and it means
Yeah, it's a
people love
story.
to see your content. So and I hope you all in the chat enjoy seeing what we provide and what Victoris provides for you in terms of entertainment value. So if you enjoy the stream, make sure you hit the follow button and hit the subscribe button if you would like to
Think
support the
it's there.
broadcast and the production members. The Twitch channel, of course, you want to follow that, and you follow Twitter as well to get information on what games are being streamed and who is on the desk for the evening. Next week, we have less games than we usually do due to the fact that a lot of leagues are winding down. But on Monday, we will be having the VAD. They're starting playoffs in the quarterfinals, along with the VAS is starting playoffs in the quarterfinals as well. That aside, the VRS will be having their grand finals here on Victoris GG, the main stream. And you can catch that out. So the Victoris Rival Series will be closing out. I'm sure those are going to be some great games. And on the secondary stream, there will be the VLS, so for some Valorant gaming on the second stream, Victoris GG2. If you would like to catch Valorant, that will be on next Thursday, starting at 7:45. That aside, once again, thank you all for watching. Thank you for coming in. You want to be a member of the community, make sure you join the Discord. Make sure you get in on the action, and make sure you stay around and stay ready for when we come back next split for more the Victoris Triumph Series action. So thank you all for watching, and have a wonderful, fantastic weekend.